for.
All right, this is Jay Savage with TimeForToku podcast, and I'm here with an amazing cast today. We have a newcomer, Chris. How you doing?
Yo, what's good? It's Chris.
What's up? What's up? And we have Blackwing as usual. What's up, bro?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, homies? What's good?
We have Deca
Heyo, it's Deca.
and one of our newest members, Shy Rose. How you doing?
This is E.
And we have Peter. What's up, bro?
What's up? How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. And we have Niggy.
What's good, y'all?
What's poppin'? Glad to finally see you here.
Shit, I've been at work all week.
I feel that. We got Mr. Awesome. Are you feeling awesome, bro?
Damn straight.
There we go. That's all we need. We got Chelsea. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Nice to hear. And we got 10. What's up, bro?
It's the garbage non-binary here.
And we have a wonderful podcast for you guys today, and we're going to just get right into it. So, we have Hasbro kind of potentially confirming animation. It's not 100% flat out like, okay, so yeah, this is dropping this, but they hinted that we're going to get animation in the future. So, let's speculate. You want to start it off, Blackwing?
Yeah, I don't mind starting it off. So
yeah, go for it, my fault.
yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, regarding the animation, the fact that they said they want to, it's possible, it's in the works for them to branch out to animation. I say, open the floodgates and give it a try, and try it out. So, I think, an animation can give them, free reins to probably, test the waters and do whatever they want. And if they could, the comics have, diving deeper into the lore of the franchise, so that adds more, possibilities for things to be done. And again, I guess when it comes to like a network they could put it on, I immediately say, put it on Netflix, because I don't see I don't see them working on a TV network anytime soon, because with animation, I know you got free reigns to do whatever you want. You can make it childish, you can make it young adult, you can make it full on adult rated R, but I don't know, whichever works.
Okay. I'm kind of on the whole idea just because the fact that, I don't know, for me, animation hasn't been like top tier lately anyways. I mean, for this to work for me, I guess, adapt Boom Studios comics maybe. Do that whole route or make it, I don't know. Like, at the extent of like losing live action, I would kind of suck. And I would be like, all right, I guess I'm forced to watch animation. But like, I don't know. I would like to have options, maybe like animation and live action. If I'm sitting here only watching animation, I'm gonna have to put it on a higher pedestal where like I would want it to be like Boom Studios, and I would want it to be more mature and like for the older fans. So I mean, to avoid like me critiquing it that high, I would just say, hey, let me keep live action, and then I won't be too hard on animation. I'll be like, whatever, it's fine. But Peter and Mr. Awesome, what you guys think about this?
I don't know. I feel like it would lose the series roots for if it's solely animation. Like, I probably wouldn't watch it one bit. I would just stop caring, to be honest. Like, I don't know. It depends on the style too. If it's like cheap flash animation, like those like crappy Avengers cartoons on Disney XD, I would certainly not watch it. But I don't know. Part of the charm is the live action and the Sentai like adaptation, which again, if that also goes by the wayside, I will probably stop caring too. I don't know. I'll probably just collect the toys for past seasons, but I don't know. I can't see myself getting any interest in the animated part. I don't know. Unless they do the comics. The comics are good. If they stick with that story, then all right, do that.
Do you think if we had both live action and animation and the movie at the same time, you think you would give it a chance then? Or
Yes,
is it
because
just
I
like
have an alternative.
exactly? So you feel like if it was just only animation, that
Yeah,
would like suck.
if it's only animated, I will probably not care. I
I
won't
get that.
watch
I
it
get that.
because I feel like Hasbro has the opportunity to make it not look cheap, but we also don't know what network it will be on in the future, whether it's on a network, on a television network, or on a streaming service. So if it is like those cheap Avengers cartoons, like if it looks that bad, I just won't watch it. Like I'll give it an episode and be like, oof, that's bad.
I don't know why I'm getting heavy vibes that Hasbro might extend that Nickelodeon contract. I just feel like it's happening.
I mean, Nickelodeon has that Ninja Turtles cartoon that like
I was
looks
gonna
pretty
say
good. So
animation and like Nickelodeon might be, but Mr. Awesome, do you think this is an awesome idea?
Yeah, because let's face it, if you watch the series, you can obviously tell they want to take routes, but they couldn't do it either due to either contract or not getting the right to actors and unions. This way, we can get back pretty much with the realm of animation. You can pretty much do anything. You can bring back old characters, and you wouldn't have to worry about bringing in the actors, or you can easily bring in the actors just to do the voice work.
Hey, past
And
actors coming back would be nice.
plus,
It's
I
cheap too.
would
They can do it from their house.
yeah. Plus, I would really like for them to adapt the Boom Studios comic.
Yeah, that's a reasonable way to go. But I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes things are just too simple for Power Rangers. You know, you expect something and you get the complete opposite.
Plus, plus, you gotta realize this was a long time coming. I know during the Disney era they were trying to get a Power Rangers animated series, but I think either due to Toei or some, yeah, I think it was due to Toei. That series never got off the ground, other than some concept art which you can find online.
I was gonna say, yeah, the Disney era, they pitched a few different animations to them, and they shot down all of them.
Yeah. So now Toei would out, since supposedly Hasbro was ending their partnership with Toei, and they give them free reign to do whatever they want.
Yeah, literally. I mean, hey, the one thing I gotta give Hasbro credit for, it looks like they have some type of plan, if that makes sense. Like they're trying to do something. Like I feel like one thing about Disney, yeah, Disney put out good seasons, but that was it for Disney. You know, it wasn't like anything else. It was just season after season to expect, you know. But it looks like Hasbro wants to like focus more on like comics, uh potential movies in the future, animation, maybe keep live action. Like they have some type of plan they got going for them, but who knows? I mean, it looks
We
like
have
they
to see.
want to like expand Power Rangers the most that anyone's have done it before from the looks of it. So hey, more
Yeah.
options the better.
Mhm.
And Chris and Chelsea, what you guys think about this?
Chelsea, you can go.
I think, like Mr. Awesome said, it has so many possibilities. I mean, like, I just spent a week and a half watching all 8 seasons of the Netflix Voltron. And if it was anything like that, it would be amazing. Like, just think about the way they can do battles and stuff. The
No,
fight
literally,
scenes,
I
the
love that show.
jumping, yeah, like the lasers, everything. The monsters could be more competent. The battles could be more perilous. The angst, the struggle, the loss.
That's Netflix though. We gotta we gotta
Well, I
think
mean, if we
about
went to
that.
Netflix, we could do anything, though. I mean, it really depends on where they take it. Even in the cartoons, like if they kept it on Nickelodeon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles didn't slack.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, the thing is too, like, it depends on who has it. You know what I mean? It always depends on who's working on it, like who's taking care of the project. I mean, that's the thing. Like a project like Ninja Turtles, I know there's plenty of like big animation people that want to get their hands on something that big. I feel like for Power Rangers though, it's kind of like iffy. Like I feel like they're gonna go the cheaper route to get like a cheaper like animation person or something like that. Because, like, if you think about Voltron, right? Voltron is amazing right now because of who's working on it. Do y'all remember when they tried to reboot Voltron the first time on Cartoon Network? Or was it Nicktoons? I can't remember. But Voltron
Nicktoons, I watched
Force.
that program.
Yeah, it was Nicktoons.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Voltron Force.
Nicktoons.
I like Voltron Force, but that's me personally because I'm a Voltron head and it takes like not much to please me when it comes to Voltron. As long as I got Voltron, I'm happy. But a lot of people didn't really like the show. So I feel like it depends on who's working on it. I mean, Power Rangers, I don't think that's a brand that everyone is like dying to get their hands on necessarily. But Ryan, I think would be a great choice. I don't know if you want to work on anything outside of the comics, but Chris, what you think?
Man, I'm like iffy because it's like I don't want to cop out and say that if we go mainly animated, then I'll just only watch like Sentai. But I feel like there's like a lot of potential, because it's like we were talking earlier this week about the Batman v TMNT movie and how good that was towards the fans, and I was like, and y'all were talking about Voltron as well, like they could really like pull it off, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
something I was thinking too is because if we do decide to go animated and keep live action, I was thinking because I don't know if I'm mistaken, but since Disney and Netflix are about to have their divorce, Nickelodeon and Netflix have been getting a little close recently. So you never know, like how y'all were talking about like the comics and how they might start a little like Daredevil Shattered Grid. You know what I'm saying? Like just like the comics, you know what I mean? Like that might be cool.
Mm-hmm. See, the thing with Power Rangers though and Netflix, it's so weird how this is happening. Because I feel like Power Rangers is getting like the weaker end of the deal because Nickelodeon just did a contract with Netflix, but it's only for Netflix to produce Nickelodeon IP projects, which Power Rangers is not a part of. But Boom Studios also did a contract with Netflix to produce original content from Boom Studios. Now, I was also thinking that can be Power Rangers, but I did do like a little more research, and I think Boom Studios IPs are like their original projects they created, and not necessarily like stuff they're working on, like Power Rangers or whatever. So I feel like both companies that Power Rangers is working with is getting Netflix deals, but Power Rangers itself. And I feel like that's kind of weird. I don't know if that's weird to anybody else.
I feel
But
like they can
Shy,
pull it off.
what you think about this?
I think it's possible. I mean, technically, since Hasbro owns like all of the products, I mean, what they could do is use the Hyperforce Rangers and adapt that into a
Mm.
animated series to avoid any conflict about people dealing with like past seasons and actors and stuff like that. To avoid that, there's a whole man-made team ready to go that can be used to create an animated series. And the importance that we have to realize about the Netflix series of Voltron and Shira to the point is that most of the people who created those like revamped versions of like 80s cartoons and stuff like that, those are fans first. And I think that's very important when trying to do an animation series on a historical product. Same with the TMNT like stuff. Like those guys were fans first. And when you're a fan, you treat a product with so much respect. So I think that's very important, and I think Hasbro could do it with the Hyperforce team since it's right there. Not a lot of people watch the RPG. I know I didn't. I couldn't do it. So that even
Mm-mm.
so that even leaves more interpretation and get more participation and stuff if they adapt that into a series.
I really tried to watch Hyperforce. Honestly, I got to the first episode where like Jen actor was like guest starring, and that was it for me. I'm like, nah, I can't. Me, I am a sucker for Hyperforce just because of the ties with Time Force. But the selfish part of me just wants Hyperforce to be a movie. Like, I feel like the upcoming live action movie should just be Hyperforce, throw mad Time Force like Easter eggs in there, maybe bring Time Force actors back as mentors. Like, I just want Hyperforce and Time Force to get like a big budget movie. You know what I mean? Just because half of me is like mad that we never got the Time Force movie we originally was gonna get. But that's a topic for another day. But
Yeah,
I mean,
but you know how it is.
yeah.
You know, Mighty Morphin is the pinnacle, is the opening door. Not a lot of people even know about the seasons past that. So I feel like a cartoon that has like a clean slate could work because it'd be like, oh, Power Rangers, like, what's that all about? I don't know. I would like it to happen. It's something different, and you got Transformers cartoons and Voltron cartoons, so you could put a giant robot in animation. It's not hard.
Yep, definitely. And it's another good thing if Hyperforce went animation because all the actual Hyperforce Rangers can come back as the voice. You know what I mean? Like you don't actually have to have them morph. Because like we know if they did like a live action Hyperforce, you know how the fans are. They're gonna ask the original Hyperforce people to come back, knowing damn well half of them can't even do it. But it's like it's the fandom for you. So I mean, this way you still get your original people, the Black Nerd and Bulk. I don't know his real name, Paul something. He can come
Yeah,
back
Paul.
and
His
he
name
can
is
come
Paul
back. What is it?
Paul Schreier.
Paul
Yes.
Schreider. Yeah, he can come back. He can do his thing, voice acting. It's a win-win. Anything Hyperforce that's not tabletop. I mean, people want Hyperforce season 2. If you can't do a movie in live action, give them that too. Hey, more diversity for us. Whatever. But
Wait,
10.
can I just say,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
just real quick, I feel like it would be better to promote more diversity because, like, Paul is a bigger guy and they let him play a bigger looking character for the tabletop game, but in live action they stick to pretty much one body type and don't ever, allow
Divulge
more.
from that.
Yeah. So like it would be, I guess, a better way for them to divert from that since they seem to not want to for live action for whatever reason.
Y'all see them cardios that them Rangers be doing out there?
Yeah, well, some people can do that.
You're gonna have to do
Plus,
some type
I
of.
want professional voice actor. They can bring back Paul, but I'm not sure about the rest of the other Hyperforce crew that showed up in the
I
RP.
mean, for like voice acting, bring them all back. Fuck it. I mean, like live action though, like
Voice
a
actor
big
kind of an
budget
art
movie.
form on its own, which is a different debate. I'm not gonna have it here, but I don't know. My point is, they could like bring back the Hyperforce cast, the original like cameo voices, like voice like random characters every now and then.
I mean, listen, if we ever get Hyperforce, to be realistic, it's going to be animation. Like, if we get Hyperforce, it's definitely like it's perfect way to bring like past Rangers back as a voice. You know what I mean? They can do it from their home. You got there's so much you can do with Hyperforce. I mean, I doubt tabletop is going to even happen further with Power Rangers just because I was Saban. I don't know. And then I don't know. I feel like animation is definitely. I just don't see him being like a live, like not to be like mean or anything. I just don't see like that actor playing a ranger in live action. If that makes sense.
I
Like
see what you mean. And he probably would understand too. He doesn't have the physique to
I was gonna
probably
say,
do
like
most
there's a lot of
things.
running, flip, jumping. You got to be all right. Power Rangers is not realistic. I get that, but you got to be some type of realistic. You know what I mean? Like we're not gonna look at this man and be like, yeah, that's definitely him doing all those cartwheels and flips and all types of other extra crazy shit. Him,
But
who
then
else?
if you look at the
Actually,
older like Sentai
I
series,
do have
then
something to say on Jack first, and then I'll do my animation piece.
Yeah,
In the mobile game, I don't know what his fighting style would be like in the tabletop, but in the mobile game, they had him do a lot of very big, showy attacks that had a lot of like one of his attacks is that he's like slamming his fists into the opponent, and then one of them has him summoning his hammer to like knock him in the air and then bring him back down. So it's not a whole lot of acrobatic, it's just a lot of brute strength.
You think that would just? I mean, now that I think about it though, it kind of reminds me of what's his name from Voltron? What's the yellow dude?
Hunk.
Hunk. I thought his name was Hunk. I ain't know. I ain't want to say it though. But yeah, I feel like they'll go that route. Maybe I don't know. Hunk
Okay,
is
that's
he?
fair.
What does Hunk do? Like
He has
I
a
know what
giant
he does,
cannon
but
laser.
Hunk is
he
basically the
doesn't.
muscle of the team.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything like athletic. That's like unrealistic, right?
He kind of does. I
No.
mean, towards
He
the
can
end,
cook.
he was getting a little more.
He can cook.
That's
Real
realistic.
good.
I mean, yeah, that's something that what's her name can't do. Mia. It's already an up. All right.
Right.
So 10. Yeah, speak your piece.
So you really have two really good modern options because action and animation for a really action-oriented show like Power Rangers, you have to get the proper animation studio or else the series is going to look awfully boring and just boring to watch. So I'd recommend getting someone like the studio that did Korra and Voltron or Flying Bark Animation, the one that did Rise of the TNT and Lego Monkey Kid because those animation studios understand that action is dynamic and it has a lot of fluidity to it, which I think would
Did you
translate well
ask?
to a Power Rangers.
Did you ask for the guy who did Lego Monkey Kid?
No, I know their work because they've done 3 shows that I watch.
Okay. Is that show popular?
Rise of the Team MT was popular. Lego Monkey Kid is still new and it's not technically released in the US yet. And Glitch Text was a show that people loved.
Okay, because when we're thinking Power Rangers, you got to think about not top tier people. We have to like lower our standards.
Well, they're new, so they don't exactly have a lot of credits into them, so maybe they're a bit on the cheaper side. Plus, their
I
show
mean,
And
got
that's
canceled on Nick,
in
so
China,
I don't
so they're
know
probably
what
on
it
the
does to that.
what you was gonna say, Awesome.
Actually, I found out the studio that made like Rise and the Monkey Kid Lego show are actually located in China. So yeah, they probably work for very cheap. Unfortunately.
I'm sorry, that came out wrong. My bad.
Damn.
Tenkai,
Well,
not Tenkai.
I don't
Sorry,
think,
Tenaya.
I don't, I don't think that there would be another studio I can think of immediately that would do action that would translate well to Power Rangers.
Titmouse. That's a good studio that done pretty well for animation.
Which one? Who? What do they do?
Let's see what they do. They did Final Space and that new Cartoon Network show Mao Mao, and the animation for those
I
shows
don't
are great.
know. I don't know how that would translate to Power Rangers.
All right, we're
Like
Because
I
I've
said,
talking
seen Final
E1, right?
Space. I've seen Final Space. I don't know how well that animation style would translate to Power Rangers.
it's all about design and everything.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's something doesn't sit right with me thinking about it. I'd rather have just studios more known for action than comedy.
Hmm.
Because I think Power Rangers as a series is action first, comedy second, or at least it should be. Ninja Steel.
Mm. You know what I was thinking though? Like outside the box. A lot of people will say, hell nah. But like, just think about it for a second. All right,
What?
so the people who does the My Little Pony cartoons, right? You're probably
Actually, yeah,
thinking,
that works.
I was gonna say you're
I
probably
was gonna
thinking
say
no, but
that.
like if you actually watch the show, we're not speaking on it being for kids. We're speaking on strictly animation, like how it looks. Like that's actually great animation for like a show that doesn't like have a lot of money and all
I
that.
remember like seeing a clip from the season 4 finale, and I was like, "That's what they're watching?
Yeah, like
Holy!"
that animation is pretty good. I would definitely say go that
Like
route, which you probably would.
it was a lot of like beam fights, if you know what I mean. Like if you watch Dragon Ball, it's a lot of like beam
Hmm.
fights, but it still looked amazing.
Is there humans on that show or no?
There's the human-based movies that actually look pretty good,
Equestria Girls.
but
That's what you're talking about.
yeah.
What's up? Yours actually next if you want to like Deca, if you want to like slide right
But there
off.
is one thing I will say that I have hope for an animated series. If Hasbro does go animated, I don't think they're going to be as cheap as you guys think it will be. Because look at Transformers and My Little Pony. They got series. Transformers has had a couple of really good series under Hasbro's brand. Like I forget, was Prime under Hasbro?
Prime.
Yeah,
Prime.
it was. It is.
Prime,
so.
the new War for Cybertron series looks amazing. I
I mean,
think
real
I think
quick off
Hasbro will
that.
do Power Rangers
Well,
justice.
Rescue Boss. That show looks amazing, and the animation it's not really cheap either. That show looks
Well,
amazing. I
no,
know Rescue looks
when I
good.
say cheap, I mean like not A plus top tier animators working on it. That's what I meant. Like for example, once again, this is their new like IP. This is like the first time they're going animation. I don't think they're going all out for it. Like if you look at My Little Pony, that wasn't like it looks great now and the animation is beautiful, but it didn't start off that way. Like they definitely started off
Of course,
playing
it
it
started
safe.
on in the 80s.
It got successful. You know what I mean like the newer shows. Like it got successful, like it got popular and they put more money each season. So I feel like Power Rangers would do that. Like they're gonna start off cheap,
They're at least
play
gonna
it
try
safe.
something new. That seems to be Hasbro's formula for success. They're gonna take that IP and then they're gonna do something with it that no one would think would do. Like I don't know, giving My Little Pony a more serious story or
Oh
making
shit.
Transformers into a whatever they did with Transformers to make it successful. I think they're gonna do something new with Power Rangers that we're not really expecting, or if we are, we were like it was low expectations, and they're
I'm
gonna
gonna
blow it out of
throw
the park.
something I'm gonna throw something in the atmosphere real quick. But before I do that, like I think this is what I think real quick. I think they're gonna go cheap and then like season 3 or 4, if the show's like popular or picks up, they're gonna put all their money into it and make it look gorgeous and polish it or whatever. But I was just thinking, I it's not gonna happen obviously because Paramount owns it. But I was thinking like it'll be a dope like animated movie for Power Rangers if like Sony had it. Like how Sony did their Spider-Verse animation and how they did
Oh,
the
that would
Peanuts
work.
movie. I mean it worked with the Peanuts movie, and then it
Mm.
also worked with Spider-Verse. So I feel like Power Rangers could like work with that, but obviously Paramount's a different company or whatever. But we're
Yeah.
gonna move over to Deca and then Mickey. So Deca, lead the way.
All right, then. So I have a lot to say about the direction of Power Rangers being animated. The first one is actually a positive for it's actually a positive that this thing could bring is that if the show goes animated, that means that the voice actors could have an easier time voice acting because they could just record the lines in their home with like Audacity or some other audio recording function, and they don't actually have to show it to a studio and record their lines. They could just send it through their house.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the reasonable way to go, especially due to all right. Another thing I really feel like they mentioned animation in their little what was it, a little interview or press conference, whatever the fuck they had. But like I feel like they mentioned animation specifically because of Corona. I feel like that was like the safest route to go because that's something you can work at from home. You know what I mean? Like that's why you see like a lot of animation like projects ramping up right now because of Corona. A lot of people are shutting down filming, but you can work on animation from home. So I feel like the reason they mentioned animation was strictly because it's something you can really put together and have ready in time by next year or whatever. Just a quick thought, but continue.
All right, then. So another thing is that, as some of you mentioned before, I'd rather this just be optional and just a thing on the side, like, like in case this, like in case this animated stuff fails, we still have the other, we still have the live action show, and if the action show fails, then we can have this animated stuff, and we can sell the comics and stuff like that.
Can you imagine though, like if they cancel everything just for animation, and then the animation fails, so then we're just stuck with nothing?
I do
That'd
not
be
want to live in
great.
that world.
We might live in it. Go ahead.
All right. The third thing is that, like what Peter said, the show would kind of lose its touch because at its core, it's an American toku, and if you go animated rather than live action, it kind of loses that American toku feel.
Yeah.
Agreed. And Miggy, what's your thoughts on this, bro? I know you're so excited for this animation.
Ooh, you have no idea. But honestly, like Ten was saying, Hasbro's got a lot of like good success with like their Transformers IP, and like they have, they have a lot of potential if they just approach the right people. I think like say like you go a step up above animation studios and you go to like producers like the folks that worked on like say Transformers Prime, like Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci, like Dwayne Capizzi, like all these people have been involved in really successful franchises like the Batman, or no wait, what was that one Batman series that looked like Jackie Chan Adventures that had the Joker that
You
was
said it right.
voiced?
The Batman.
Yeah, the Batman.
Yeah. The Batman, they had Jackie Chan Adventures, they're involved with Transformers Prime. So many great successful franchises, if they go straight and do a good pitch to like a higher up, then those people, if they're not already like contracted with another company, like could definitely pull like a top tier animation studio and get it off the road. Like it would do really well, I think.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
that sounds good.
I mean, I was just thinking though. You basically said it yourself, though. They're too busy working on like successful things. Like they're too busy with successful properties. But Shy, what you think of what Miggy was saying?
I was just saying I was disagreeing that if it happened that it'll take away from his Toku presence, because like I said in our
Agree.
chat or whatever, that Sailor Moon took a lot of elements from Toku tropes, and with the monster of the day, well, in terms of the anime. So I mean, it's only gonna feel different if you like take it as it is. Like, if you keep putting in your head that it has to be live action, it has to be live action, then you're gonna feel some type of way when it's actually animated. But I think for the franchise as a whole, like we have to have an open mind of it, because we have that space to be more open minded about where we want the franchise to go, if that makes sense.
Yes. Before we wrap this up, anybody else got something to say on it?
Thinking there's another animation studio that could potentially do Power Rangers right, and it's more of an iffy third choice, and that's the Rooster Teeth team that did Ruby. That's I was like,
Maxon, Ruby.
I don't know. They're dealing with their own issues right now. That's a rabbit hole that none of us want to get into. Trust me. Just take my word for it.
Yeah, it's just a thought that came across my head. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't pick it over my other two options, which is the Korra Voltron Studio and then Flying Bart. But like, if I had to
Actually,
choose someone
I
else
actually looked
besides
it up.
those,
Titmouse actually did the studio I mentioned earlier did some animation for Korra.
which one?
Titmouse.
Mouse. Right. Right.
They're famous for that intro for the bird that goes like chirp in a very deep voice. Did that bring any memories up?
Yeah.
Pretty much every Adult Swim cartoon ever.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they mostly do work for them too. They also did some shows for Disney, like Motor City, and also the Star Wars cartoons too. Those animated shorts.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Hasbro definitely has their pick of options. It just has to be someone who it has to be a studio that he definitely knows how to make action scenes look good. And I think those
Don't
two
forget.
studios definitely can do that, especially Flying Bark.
Yes.
I just want CGI animation. That's what I want. Give me
If
that.
I if I
That
may,
Tron stuff on Disney like a year, like decades ago. Oh, was it Tron Legacy? Tron? No.
Tron Legacy. Oh, the show for Disney XD.
Yeah, that one.
That's Tron Uprising.
Yeah.
Tron
Yeah,
Opera.
something I forgot to mention. Sorry to interrupt, but something I forgot to mention is that if they are gonna do animation, I hope they do CGI because it's the easiest to do, and it could be a
It's a
lot
good
more fine
compromise.
tuned than
Is it
2D
though?
animation.
Oh yeah, like Symbiotic Titan. They have most of their fights are in 3D, at least for the Titan.
if I may, say my last piece, because
Uh-huh.
everybody was saying their whichever studio they choose. I guess the same animation studio that did, Transformers Prime and Robots in Disguise. I didn't really watch Robots in Disguise yet, but I feel
I
like,
yeah.
that animation is very fluent, and, I think especially with Prime, they could pull off action scenes very, very well. So definitely Hasbro has a wide range of choices on who to do animation.
Transformers, robots in disguise. All right, never mind. So
Power Rangers.
basically,
It's not fun.
we're all agreeing that we're hyped for it as long as it's done right, and that is not in dispense of getting rid of other Power Ranger projects like live action, right?
Yes, that pretty much
None of us are
essentially
just like
here.
pro only animation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're all in agreement. That's nice. That's nice. But before we move on to our next topic, I forgot something that we do on this podcast for all of our new members is we ask them, their favorite Power Ranger season is and favorite Sentai season. If you don't watch Sentai, which one you hyped to see? So, Chris.
I
So
was just
starting off, what's your favorite Power Ranger season? Start off with that.
man, I might just have to say Dino Thunder because I have the best memories watching that. You know what I mean? And
Okay. You want to tell us why Dino Thunder is your favorite?
um, cause I remember it was like some place like TJ Maxx or Marshalls. I forgot, but it was like my mom. She like bought me like the DVD, and it was like the episode where Tommy like we find out like Tommy was a ranger and stuff, and I was like, oh shoot, like this was like groundbreaking for me because it was like the only season I've seen before then was Time Force and MMPR, and
Hmm.
it was just crazy to me that I saw all the history of the Rangers, and it was and man, it's like that memory still like in the back of my head, like just watching it freaking out. Like I was shaking my grandpa. I was so hyped. I was like, bro, this is fire. Like it's like there's like 40 teams, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, definitely.
and I think Super Sentai, I'd have to pick like Gokaiger because that was like
Hey,
I believe that's my
Go.
first. It's
Pirate Gang! Pirate Gang!
yeah, bro. Like it's either Gokaiger or Die Ranger because those two I think they're tied, but I feel like Gokaiger because of that hero battle movie, man, like it ties in with Gokaiger as a whole, and it's just that like those are my memories of getting into Toku in the first place. So I'm gonna have to say Gokaiger and Dino Thunder.
Go.
I have a weird first reaction to Tommy and Dino Thunder. Like one thing that's weird for me is I'm all right, so I'm 22, right? So my the Power Ranger season I was airing when I first got into it was Time Force, which is part of why it's my favorite. But Time Force was not my first season. Mighty Morphin was actually my first season because I had the Day of the Dumpster tape and I used to like watch that shit to death. I didn't know what the hell it was. I'm like, yo, this is dope. So then I like begged my mom, like, oh, I really want to watch this. Where do I watch it? And then she put on TV and it was Time Force. So part of why Time Force is my favorite. But for Tommy though, even though I seen Mighty Morphin first, I did not know that was like the Tommy from like Dino Thunder. Like I didn't know
Yeah, I didn't
like
recognize him.
yeah, like I didn't know that was him. I thought it was some like random dude who came back from like Power Rangers until like the episode where like I think it was
Legacy
like
of
episode
Power.
yeah, Legacy of Power where he like it was like, oh yeah, this is him. I was the Green Ranger and the White Ranger. I'm like, yo, that was fucking him. Holy shit. But that was weird. I didn't recognize him. Like I don't think a lot of kids actually recognize who he was. I think that was more fan service for like the older heads at the time.
I did.
I have a
Mhm.
similar like memory of like having like the cassettes of like MMPR because I believe my first ever own Power Rangers thing was I was lucky because I was watching the reruns of MMPR and so I went to like the flea market down the highway and I found the Trini episode. Like it was like episode 2, I think. It was like the one where
High
she's like
five.
teaching like Billy like to climb a cliff or something. I forgot. Like I watched that episode to death. That's all I remember.
Yeah, that's high five.
I was
Yeah,
lucky,
Yeah, high
bro. I had
five.
Day
like
at the Dumpster,
like the
so I get to see it
VHS.
all start. I mean, lucky for me though, like I didn't have to like go to like the flea market or whatever because like literally my uncle was I mean, if it weren't for my uncle, bro, I don't think I'd be into Power Rangers the way I am. Because starting off at like 3 years old, bro, my uncle was a diehard Power Ranger fan. Like he had
Damn.
literally posters on his wall for Mighty Morphin. He had like a shoebox full of Mighty Morphin, Zeo, In Space, Lost Galaxy tapes, all that, and that really got me into it. And this is me at 3, 4 years old, bro. Like literally since a 3-year-old, I've been huge on Power Rangers. Like to this day, I still have that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers poster that like he had on his wall. It's like a little ripped and rusty, but obviously it's like vintage. But like just little
That's
things
wild.
like that is what makes me a Power Ranger fan today. Just because like seeing how big he was on it, he was good at drawing too. Like he used to draw me like Power Rangers and all types of crazy shit. He had like yo. So you remember you know how old the 90s phones were, right? So do
Mhm.
y'all remember the Power Rangers like 90s like phone? It was like the Red Ranger and it's a phone. It's a telephone from the Red Ranger. He had that shit. And then he had
Oh,
like
so he was a diehard.
bro, die hard, bro.
Damn.
His sheets were Power Rangers, his pillowcases Power Rangers. It was all Mighty Morphin though, obviously, but he had like the Mighty Morphin phone, he had the Mighty Morphin camera. It was like once you look into the
Jeez.
camera, it was clips from the show. Yeah, he was die hard with it. I'm like, yo. I mean, I took all that shit from him, obviously, but like, it's crazy because like even when I see him, bro, we talk about this shit. Like, yo, he goes like, yo, you remember when I was like really into Power Rangers back then? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm still into it. But like, I mean, it was crazy though, just to look back and think about this shit, and it's like, wow. Like, if it weren't from him, I don't think I would discover it on my own. You know what I mean? Like, I would probably look at it and be like, yo, this shit is fucking corny. But like the fact that I grew up into it, I don't see the issue with it. But we're going so moving on to Beast Morphers. So this past Saturday, we had the first part of an epic 3-part crossover event. Where this first episode, we had Dino Charge Rangers team up with Beast Morpher Rangers. We had the return of Keeper, the return of Snide. Is this episode where Snide returned?
This
If I'm
is
not
the
mistaken.
episode where Sledge's whole crew
Yes.
comes back.
This whole crew comes back. Okay. So yeah, this is our review for the first part of a crossover. So Blackman,
Wait,
you
hold
want to
on.
start?
Before we move on, I just want to ask
Yeah.
this one question. Do Connor and the other Dino Thunder Rangers appear in this episode?
We're not
No.
spoiling
No.
that. We're not. No.
In this
It's
episode.
all right. It's a 3-part crossover though. So that's all you're gonna say. It's like not everyone appears all at once, but it's a 3-parter. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
I was a bit late
What
on
the
the
fuck
reaction,
was
but
that?
thanks.
I think you got delayed. All right, I just had a flashback from 2 episodes ago where like I think he was delayed and he like got mad and said hello. But Blackwing, you wanna start off with your piece on this?
Okay, with this episode, of course, it's the first part of the big Dino team up, and of course, it's great to see, the Dino Boys again. And been confirmed by Brendan Mejia that Camille Hyde and Michael Tabor did come back to voice their characters, so that's also good news to hear. And I'll be honest though, because I was very scared and very, hesitant of them adapting this team up because one, this is a big team up from a movie, and only two of the Red Rangers and one Blue Ranger came back, and a lot pretty much the past Sentai actors came back with voiceover, which is fine. Now with Power Rangers, of course, I know that's going to be hard to do because not everybody wants to come back. So I'm glad they were able to get, the Dino Charge cast, majority of the Dino Charge cast to come back to do, to do physical in-person scenes and to have two of the other Rangers do voiceovers. I know a lot of people, a lot of people are gonna give flack to Zoe because she thought Keeper was like, a bad guy. I was like, oh, that's a kind of
She
a
got me
wrong.
mad.
Yeah,
It's
a lot of people got pissed.
racist.
A lot of people got mad at Zoe for that bit. I mean,
Alias.
In her
I don't,
defense, though, she didn't go to Ranger school. Like, she was a laundry girl. So, I
pretty
mean,
much,
she didn't
pretty
know
Yeah.
much.
what rock.
Exactly. There's a ranger school. How the hell does she not know that? Unless she didn't go to it.
I
So,
mean,
she,
Pretty much.
Who's
was she in Ranger
canceling her
Robbie
on
was
school?
like,
Twitter?
Go
Robbie
ahead.
was like, "Oh, that was in Ranger class," and I was like, Zoe and Devin didn't take Ranger class. What are you talking
Actually,
Ranger
no.
class?
Zoe might have took Ranger class because didn't she like wipe out?
She probably flunked.
Well,
It should have been
yeah, but she
better.
might not
Ranger
have got
class
to
was
that
never a
lesson.
thing in that universe. I hate it. I hate that so much now when thinking about it.
But yeah, all I could say is that, the build up and how they slowly brought all of Sledge's crew back because I didn't know they were going to bring back Sledge, but the fact that they brought back the entire crew, it's great. And how they mix it in with the Sentai movie footage, that also worked pretty well. And then just to have, both teams, morph together, even though it's not a full team on one side, but it's still did get to see both full teams together standing side by side, and I was very happy to see that.
First morphin sequence since Once a Ranger too. Like first
Exactly.
Yep.
team.
Well, nah, Once a Ranger was more like instant morph.
Well, no, they had the
They had
actual
their own
full
morphing
on
sequence. We even
movie
gave Adam his
morph
own
sequence
one.
though.
Nah,
You know what I
Ninja
mean?
Yeah.
Steel. I don't count the Ninja Steel Rangers morphing because we already know what their morph is. That don't
Yeah,
really
no,
count.
Ninja Steel crossover was an instamorph. But I mean, like Once a Ranger was like the last team up to have like, the
A team.
actual like
Oh, like a
visual.
team up morph. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, where like we can
Gotcha.
see
morph.
Adam morph, add Xander and like the rest of them. Like I thought that was pretty cool
Even
that they added
Scott.
that.
Yeah,
Even
Bridge
on
more.
Bridge.
Yeah, even Bridge morphed and had a whole motion for him. That's funny. Bridge, Sky, and Jack had an actual like morph, which is pretty
Damn,
dope.
that was the last time?
Yeah.
Once a
Yeah, that
Ranger,
was the
yeah.
last time. A
Yeah,
very
Every
that was
long
the
team up
time
was
ago.
last
an
time.
Yes.
instamorph since. Yeah.
Like
I
like
feel like
12 years ago. Wow, looking back at it, God, we're old. We're very old.
Hasbro, take notes. Hasbro, take notes.
Wait till you find out that Dino Fury is going to be like the first white Pink Ranger since like SPD.
Oh,
SPD
word.
Pink Ranger
That's
is hot.
Whoa.
yeah, that's crazy. Every Pink Ranger after SPD was Asian, Hispanic, or Black because Shelby, which is
Oh,
cool. Diversity, and that was 2005. So I mean,
2007 actually.
oh yeah, you're
Wait,
right.
wait,
You're
wait,
right.
wait, wait. You
it's
said 2000.
2005.
No,
My
yeah,
bad. My
2005.
Yeah,
bad.
it was
Right.
That was
2005.
2008.
My
2008.
bad. You right. You right. I'm
Wait,
thinking
no, that's
about
not
I'm thinking about Overdrive. Oops.
And that's
same.
if
That's what I
Hunter.
said 2008 for.
That's
Oops.
if Hunter Dino's white. She might not even be white. I don't know. I thought she was white. I think she's white.
Yeah, they were too focused on the blonde thing, for yellow.
Yo,
Then
did you
which
see they changed her
be
hair?
made then?
Yeah, I was like, what?
They took the blonde out. I think it was because of the, or unless the
Yeah, people
blonde was
bullied
just
her. Oh,
fake highlights. That could.
Bro, y'all
or
bullied
wait.
her into changing back.
We didn't bully her. I was cool with the whole thing.
Hey, I
But
didn't say
maybe
nothing.
Chris,
same. I'm not even on Instagram most of the time.
hey Chris, did you watch the Dino Charge team up? Was
Well,
up
I
part
didn't
one?
I didn't watch it recently, but I watched it,
What'd you think about it?
man. I messed with it heavy, man. But that keeper part, like, got me a little mad though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people got mad. I think a lot of people was mad because Zoe keeps fucking up. Like this is not her
Man.
first rodeo. Like her focus episodes are based off her fucking up.
Nah, cause
except
it's
for
funny.
except for the bike episode. I guess that was something good for her. But like
Nah, cause
she
it's
was
funny. Oh my,
yeah.
you can go.
But yeah, nah, it's your turn. Go ahead. I was gonna say yeah, that's a lot of
Nah,
reason
cause
why
it's
a lot of
funny.
people didn't like
Cause our boy over at Este, he mentioned a funny part. Like Keeper basically like told them the whole plan, told them about everything, and I'm like, dang, Keeper, like that, you're not that powerful. It's like the whole hold the truth. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Honestly, though, I'm kind of, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, the whole well, not but the whole thing, but most of that episode was original footage, right?
Some of it, yes.
Majority of it, yeah.
Because even down to some of that fight scenes was original footage. Because
Yes, Sludge wasn't in the original Sentai.
Well, yeah, that's
So-
why Sledge couldn't have been there, obviously. But I mean, a lot of that was original footage. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I did watch the Go Busters movie, and I know a lot of it wasn't that I remember was there.
Yeah, I don't remember either. And it's been a couple years, but I still don't remember.
But yeah, I think a lot of it's original footage, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
There's that. But did you have more you wanted to say on this?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh no, it was just something else that was kind of funny because we're over here talking crap about Yellow. Nah, because someone mentioned about Devin. They were because Devin was not specifically this episode, but it was, I saw on Twitter because it was the Gavin episode that got Devin was talking about. Wait, he can have kids, and I'm like, bro, you don't think he's wearing a suit? Bro, this is Power Rangers. You know what I mean?
Devin can be a dumbass sometimes, though.
Power Rangers RoboCop.
Well, hey, here's something positive about Beast Morphers Yellow. If you like her actor, her movie premiered yesterday on Lifetime.
really?
I don't know if anyone's seen
Got a
it.
movie?
I heard
She's-
I saw her promote.
Yeah, she's the main character on a Lifetime movie that premiered yesterday. It's like a horror
Okay.
movie or something.
Good for her.
Lifetime movies are a horror movie.
I mean,
Hey,
yeah,
You're
but
not wrong,
Ashanti,
Chelsea. You're not wrong
Ashanti.
about that.
Yeah, Ashanti had a good movie on there. Not Ashanti. What's her name? Aaliyah. Aaliyah had a good movie.
No, no, it was not.
That was a good
no,
movie, man.
no.
Excuse
it was
me,
not.
hold on. Now
No.
I'm finna jump in. Flag
Uh-oh.
on the play. You said
Aaliyah's
what?
a good movie.
You
Aaliyah's a
said
good
the
movie
Aaliyah
on
movie was
Lifetime.
good on Lifetime. I'm
It was a
nope.
good movie, bro.
No, it wasn't.
I don't think
Oh
there's
my
once
God.
ever been a good Lifetime movie.
Shout
First of
out
all,
Alexandria
it
Ship.
can't
That's my
be.
babe.
Nah, Jay,
Look,
you better shut up. Let E stay your peace, E.
first of all, they couldn't even get rights to her music. That's red flag one. You can't have a biopic about a music like a musician without their actual music. Red flag one. Flag two. Okay? They didn't cast Missy Elliott right. They didn't even cast Timberland right. Fuck R. Kelly. They didn't even cast him right.
Fuck R.
Flag.
Kelly.
But just saying. Flag two. Third, there was an iPhone in one scene, and it's the late 90s, early 2000s. And in red flag four, I don't like Alexandria Ship. Okay,
That's
she
big.
messed
That's
up
big.
the second drum line, and as somebody who went to a HBCU, I felt a type of way on how that movie was happening, and I don't like her storm, and that's what I have to say.
You
Thank
gonna
you.
throw her storm in there
Ooh,
too?
mic drop.
Hey, now you know how I feel about Spider-Man. Next topic.
So, depending on how I feel about
Hey,
Bohemian Rhapsody.
But hey, Chai, since you got the floor, you wanna speak your piece on have you seen a crossover or no?
I haven't watched it fully. I only saw the clips that everybody was posting in July when they were
Yeah.
when they aired it in the UK. So I saw bits and pieces of it. But
Or
I
at least
didn't
are you
get up
hyped
this
for it?
morning to
Are you hyped for it at least?
I tried to take these Neo Saban, or it's because from how they treated crossovers in the past with the Neo Saban era, I was taking it with a grain of salt when I first heard it.
Just taking your hype for a grain of salt.
Yeah, because it's they got us hyped for these crossovers and these events because former actors, actors that we haven't seen in years. And the
Mhm.
way that some of those actors got treated, where they just pop up and do the head nod, yeah, and just didn't feel like they had time to like actually have rapport with the current Rangers. So I mean, from the clips that I saw and seeing how the Dino Charge Rangers get to have more interaction with the Beast Morpher Rangers. Hopefully, I think my brother probably recorded it because I wasn't waking up at 8 o'clock. They got me messed up.
None of us
Um,
is.
so I think my brother probably recorded it. So I'm probably gonna check it out.
I mean, hey, look at it this way. Like, yes, Neil Saban crossovers has been shitty as hell. Besides from the Samurai movie, I kind of like that one. But I feel like
The samurai movie sucked.
well, the reason I like the Samurai movie so much is because they took notes from like Sentai, where they did a separate movie contributed to the whole crossover thing.
Yeah,
I think they should do that more often. But
I like the editing. I like the editing of it because they chopped two movies together to make one somewhat cohesive movie, but it's not great.
It's still a mess.
Yeah, it's not
but
good.
for
I
the
just like
whole
the RPM
crossover,
suit.
back to Shy real quick. Look at it as a 3-parter. I mean, maybe a 5-parter if you want to. If you want to count the other two, since we have the whole ride Jack, with his putties and everything. I mean, there were 2 episodes before this, but you can count it as a 3-parter or 5-parter. But if you look at it as like what they're doing for like the whole entire thing and not just the one episode, it makes it a little better. You know what I mean? Like for me at least, all I've been wanting was to like not rush a crossover. Like
So you
take
want
your
them to take their time.
take your time, do a 2-parter, 3-parter if you have to. I'm more a fan of multiple episodes to get the job done. Obviously, Dimension and Danger was good, but it wasn't great. It could have been better if they took their time with it, if that makes sense. You know what I
It could
mean?
have
Like
been good if it was like do it multi-part or not like a 20-minute episode. Do it as an hour
exactly.
movie.
So at least
Like
Beast
why?
Morphers taking like
Yeah.
an
They
hour.
set it up. They set
Yeah.
it up beforehand in Ninja Steel because they had like the 3 mysterious rogue
Yeah.
figures. So
No,
watch the
that does
Megazord
not
fights.
count. That is not the same.
That's technically
Those are
foreshadowing
2
into the
different
episode.
storylines.
It is, but it's like do more. Like make the episode an hour long.
Literally, like we have like this whole crossover, right? Same what Tyler said. No need for introductions. Like we had our introduction this episode, so we don't need to focus on that for the future ones. Then maybe the next one, you get the reason Goldar is coming back. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to talk too much on that, but they take their time with it. They build something and then shoot it out where they're not rushing into the finale. Because don't forget the finale, we need that final fight, but if it's one episode, we're gonna have so much dialogue in the beginning that the fight's gonna be like 2 minutes. You know what I mean? So like, it's good to have them do it this way. So look at it that way. Like, don't look at it as like. So if you look at it as a whole, it can be much better. You know what I mean? Like, same with Super Mega Force. Like, when they released their the legendary battle, I fucking hated it.
My
But
God.
when I sat back and watched the extended edition, I liked it more just based off the fact that
Yeah.
they combined the final 2 episodes together, and it made it much better for me. Me personally, I didn't need the whole Sentai footage that they used for the team up. Like, I didn't care that they didn't use the full footage. As long as I got a good story, which I did get with the extended edition, I was fine with it. The ending was just like the cherry on top for me. You know what I mean? Like, the finale together is so good that they should have shot it as one episode, and they air prime time, so it's like a win-win. You know what I'm saying? But Deca, how you feel about this team up? If you haven't seen it, are you hyped for it?
I'm personally really hyped for it. I hope the Dino Thunder Rangers come back because I love that season.
I hope they come back too. That would be dope if we get the Dino Thunder Rangers. I really hope we get, I don't know, maybe Mighty Morphin too. That would be pretty cool. Maybe bring back an old villain or something. I don't know. Lord Zed, Rita, Godar.
Nah,
Well,
if you do
considering stuff that
that's
happened
gotta
at the end of
be.
the Zordon era, I'm not going to give too much away, but considering something that happened in the Zordon era, we're probably not going to see Rita or Zed back.
That is true.
It would be nice though if we had them back.
Hey, we
you know?
saw that staff though. Let's be real.
Yeah, his ugly son stole it.
Or maybe
How-
No,
bring
he
back
forgets
Drax.
like that. He's a make
Yeah, they should honestly they should bring him back because I want to know how Rita
the
and Zed
Ranger.
reproduced.
And
How the fuck did he
when?
went back to the past?
When
That's
did
what I
Behind
they
want
the
to
do
know.
that?
behind the scenes, probably before the whole Z wave happened.
But then, like, why is that thing so old?
He
What,
probably
the
just look
Snap
ugly. He might not be
Eyes
that old. He could be a teenager. All we know.
I was like, he should be like what,
Wide?
14?
He went trying to fight the Sentinel Knight. Can someone tell me that?
Yeah, they've been
But
fighting for centuries.
that would be
Again,
cool.
continuity errors.
And
Bring
have
Plot
the
back
holes.
cake
past
he needed
Rangers.
to do with that plot. You
Wait,
can't.
what if they have it? Wait, what if they had him before the events of Mighty Morphin?
That's stupid.
That's literally impossible.
They didn't. They weren't even married before
They
that
didn't-
happened.
Well,
They never.
yeah, and
wait,
they
never
didn't. Yeah,
mind.
Rita
Never mind,
Lord
Zed,
Zed.
never mind.
He was basically his lackey.
Yeah,
Or
but
that-
they
or that
didn't
was
get
Goldar.
married yet at the time.
maybe they
I mean,
hooked
we
up
didn't find out
beforehand.
about Rito until later on, or her
Wait,
dad.
y'all said Zed's son is supposed to be 14?
Yeah,
He
Thrax.
did not
is
age.
Why does
like
he look
14
like
and-
that?
We're going
He
what,
did
we're
not
doing
age
anime rules into
gracefully.
this now.
I mean, Rita
Well-
was stuck in there for 10,000 years. so
Hold
you know,
on,
you're
though.
right.
Rita almost
Is it
aged like
confirmed
fine
that Rita is his
wine.
mom? Is it confirmed that Rita is his mom? We know
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
his dad.
Mhm.
right?
Yes. Unfortunately,
said
Don't
Rita?
she come back
blatantly
in
blunted.
Mystic
He
Force?
bluntly bladed.
Yeah. No, well, Rita comes back in Mystic Force as the Magic Mother, but that was just convenient because it was the same actress from the original Sentai footage as
I mean,
Jew
good for
Ranger.
her. I mean, good for Rita, right? Good for Rita for that ending.
Wait. Rita came back in Mystic Force?
You didn't
As
know?
the
Yeah.
Magic
They-
Mother or whatever, Mystic
was
Is
just
that
a big
confirmed?
So, long story
Yeah, no,
short,
they say it in the
Machiko
show.
Soka, who played Rita's Japanese counterpart Bandora, also played the Magic Mother's Japanese counterpart in Magi Ranger, and that's why they had the Magic Mother be Rita.
I
was a
missed
cop out.
that
It was a
part.
pretty much.
Shit.
It
Yeah,
was a
they
cheap
actually
cop out.
say it.
Yeah, that was a good
But-
ending for Rita. She got a
It
happy
was a
ending.
cheap
at least.
cop out, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like I don't.
Alright, well,
she got
that
turned good at the
fucking-
end.
That debunks our
She
Mystic
turned
Force
good
arc
and
at
got
the
her
end of the
powers
day.
back.
Remember,
That's a
we
storyline
didn't
waiting
know
to
if,
happen.
Mystic Force was like a different universe. But I guess it's not now.
No, it's the Prime universe, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a
That
Prime
makes
universe,
no
but
sense.
it's magic.
So they had fairies and shit and trolls and shit this whole time. That's weird. Anyways.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it's
fun
it's
fact,
it's
fun
it's a
fact,
secret
Power Rangers
forest.
Mystic Force was the first season, and y'all can debate me on this if you want. But the first season to introduce alternate dimensions, because I know for a fact there were some episodes they traveled to different dimensions, magical ones, of course.
They went to
yeah,
Hogwarts.
The Death
You might be
Witch.
right.
The
It
Dark
did
Witch
better
or
magic
something.
than Harry Potter. I said it.
Am I
But
the only one
Decker-
that liked the capes on those suits? By the way, just to say it, I love
I did
Yes,
too. I
Scooby
did
Those
too.
Power
capes
Rangers
were
with
amazing.
capes.
We
need more
Rangers
capes.
with cape
Right?
combat.
Shout out to
Fuck
Lupat.
whatever the ladies did in the Incredibles.
Hey, we could have got it with Lupat. Just saying.
Hey, we still got time.
Nah.
Hey, yeah.
I don't think
But you-
Hasbro's going
You
back.
can't
to
predict the
old
future,
seasons.
man. You can't predict it.
I like big swishy capes and or jackets, but that's
You know
just
my
because
prediction
Doctor
is-
Who.
You know how like Sentai, like they changed their fight choreograph and everything with Ryu Soldier, and like I
They
feel
did?
like Hasbro is gonna like. I think they did it with Lupat actually, or was Ryu Soldier the first one to do it? I think it's Ryu Soldier, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my
But-
god, it's Ryu Soldier. Ryu
Hey.
Soldier.
I was waiting for
That's
Ryu,
like
you.
Ryu
saying if what,
Soldier.
like how you pronounce Ryu in Street Fighter. Is it Ryu or Ryu? It doesn't fucking matter.
Ryu.
Yeah, if
It's
you say
Ryu.
Ryu,
Ri-
like I
it
think you need help.
It doesn't
How?
fucking matter. They both mean the same
It's-
thing at the end of the day.
I was gonna say like regardless.
I knew what he meant. I've never even watched the show. I
Listen.
knew what he meant.
All right, but listen though. Y'all gonna distract me from what I'm trying to say. So Hasbro, they might look at this footage and be like, "Damn, these some fucking crazy ass fight scenes and shit," and they're gonna be like, "You know what? Why the fuck do we got to go back to the old seasons? We can just do new seasons." Like literally, they're gonna see the amount of good shit they're gonna get from Ryu Soldier, and they're gonna put it into Dino Fury, and I feel like they're gonna move forward. Like Care Major is doing it really well with their choreograph, and they're gonna look at that shit and be like, "Yeah, we're moving forward. The old seasons are great, but like they don't have that extra money that the newer seasons put into it. This is all I'm saying. I feel like Hasbro's not going to go back if they're going to see how much forward Ryu Soldier was.
Wait,
But
y'all think Kira Major is gonna be the next adapted?
yes, absolutely, 100%.
Oh,
100% Karen Major's next.
We'll
It's
see.
obvious, right?
Space sequel confirmed.
I mean, somebody gave me my hopes up. It's talking about Q Ranger, so I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. Q Ranger, they had their reasons why they skipped it. Like the thing is, all right, a lot of people don't want to take what Illuminati says as confirmed, but Illuminati did say their sources legit went to him and told him that they were down to 2 seasons, and what's the name of the 10 Ranger, 11 Ranger one? Kai Ranger? What is it? Q Ranger?
Q Ranger.
Q Ranger.
Q Ranger. All right, so they said Q Ranger wasn't even in the talks. Like the final 2 that they were going for was either Ryu Soldier or Zoo Ranger. No, Zooger. My bad.
Zooger? Yeah, my
Yeah,
Minecraft
Zooger
blocks.
and Ryu Soldier was the 2 that
Wait, they
they were
haven't
debating.
adapted Zoo Ranger yet?
No,
Nope.
those
I
are the 2
hope.
seasons they were fighting on which one they want, and he went with Ryu Soldier. They said Kira Ranger they just automatically skipped because, like, one, you got to pay a lot of fucking actors to show up for this show if you're gonna do like that many Rangers. And
If
on
you want,
top of that,
if
it's
you want
not
to
like
bring like past actors to come back for that.
Hey, someone gave me the idea that the Phoenix Rangers could be like Adam or something. They can bring back Adam, and I was like, "Whoa, that's
If
pretty
they
cool."
want,
listen,
if they
it
want to come
costs
back.
even more money though to bring a past Ranger back rather than pay a regular New Zealand Ranger or something like that. But either way, Dino Charge worked. A lot of people brought that up, like, well, Dino Charge did it. The thing with Dino Charge, if you watch the footage that they're taking it from, all the Rangers aren't together all the time. Like literally, that show has the main 6 Rangers, and then like the other 5 pop up time from time. You know what I mean? It's not like Q Ranger. It's not like Q Ranger where like they're all together all the time. You know what I mean? Like they fucking start off with like 8, 9 Rangers. So it's like it's harder to even pay the actors. And then on top of that, you got weird fucking uniforms and like weird pointy shits for the Yellow Ranger and shit. It's just a lot of stuff that they didn't want to like go into. They might save it for a 30th anniversary, which
So
would
you
be
don't think the
perfect.
Kira Major uniforms look weird? You don't think
Listen,
coming to the Western audience, it's them walking around with the little thing they got going?
it looks more normal than Q Ranger. The thing with Q Ranger is though, like everyone's different. Like you have a big bulky Black Ranger, you have like a Blue Ranger whose whole suit is fur and shit. I don't know, it just looks weird to like, you have wings on the Pink Ranger, you have a tail on the Yellow Ranger, you see the Orange Ranger. You see where I'm getting at? But like,
Yeah.
the thing is though, it's like I forgot about that shit. That's fucking stupid. A fucking wings on the fucking Pink Ranger and the tail on it. Or anyways.
Bro, the
But
Blue
like
Ranger got me so mad. Like how
It's
he looked,
detail.
like the fur. He looked like a furry man. Like I was
yeah,
like,
that's
you could have done
weird.
the
Like
whole Kruger thing. Like you know what I mean?
it's just weird things they did. But on top of that, you gotta also think about um on top of that, you have to I mean it might work though, because like with that many Rangers, they might want to save it for a 30th anniversary. You know what I mean? Like, and if we're
Yeah.
sticking to the 1 season format, like Dino Fury might be 44 1 season, then next season, yeah, we can get a season like Kira Ranger and get their 44 episodes 1 season. And then for the 30th, you can have your 10-team Ranger or some shit. I don't know. But what I'm thinking is definitely next season. It's the smartest choice to go with Kira Ranger just because of the fact that the footage is like I said, it's the same as Ryu Soldier. It's clean. It's an upgrade from the past seasons. It's perfect. And Kira Ranger is the most logical, like, looking Power Rangers. Like, if you look at the past couple seasons, like I said, we explained why Kai Ranger or Q Ranger. We explained why that looked weird.
Q Ranger,
And
say it right, man. Jeez.
Hey,
it's
cause
hard for me, bro. I'm not used to this foreign shit. But like, if you look at Lupat too, like Lupat is one of the ones I wanted to be adapted and looks good. But
Jay probably
you
says
gotta
like
you gotta think about how weird it would be for like Power Rangers to dive into the whole 2-team thing, and like I don't know. I feel like it's too complex for Power Rangers.
I
Because
mean,
Power
a
Rangers don't do
similar
much.
idea back in the day though, like during the whole Saban to turning into the Disney thing. Like I forgot what it was called. It was like
The
supposed to be like
Hexagon,
yeah, or something like that.
that was so different though. Like it was just going to be like past Rangers on the same team and some evil Rangers. But yeah, I mean, Ninja Storm kind of did that with the whole 3
Mhm.
Rangers and then the 2 bad Rangers. But that didn't even. I don't know. I feel like Lupat will be a different approach, especially having like robbers or thieves like one of your Ranger teams. I don't think they want to go that way. And then like the whole police, you know what I mean? Like there's so
Yeah,
many red flags for that show. And on top of that,
yeah,
biggest thing,
police.
yeah, the biggest thing though, how complex it would be for Power Rangers. Power Rangers like to keep it simple, which is why
Mhm.
they skipped a lot of like Beast Morphers or Go Busters. Go Busters got skipped because Power Rangers wanted to keep it simple. Even Go Busters was too complex for the shit. But we're getting off topic though. I want to keep going down this list. And Peter, you want to give us your thoughts on if you're even hyped for the show or if you already seen a crossover? What's your review on it?
I haven't watched the full crossover yet. I just watched today's episode. I mean, I know what happens because of all like the spoilers and stuff. So I know what happens.
This
I
is first time airing. What you mean?
the first time airing in the United States, maybe. I know what happens. Based on knowing what happens and how it plays out, I can't say I'm hyped for it, but I'll watch it.
Do you think it's better than the past Neo Saban crossovers we had?
Yes and no. Yes, because I
Are you
guess
counting it as like a 3-parter though, or are you counting it as just one episode?
yeah, I'll count it as a full like 3-part. Like I'll count it the 3-part as like a one whole episode, like a long episode basically. Because it's
Okay.
they all lead into each other. It's yes and
Yeah.
no. It's better some ways, but then
Does this? All right, let me ask you this then. Does it get you hyped for future crossover episodes?
implying there will be any.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
I
the
mean, if
next
they're
season might cross over with Beast Morphers, probably.
um well, is this one this one is still technically a Neo Saban team up though, correct?
Yes. The only difference is because we give Hasbro credit when it comes to the behind the scenes and the money.
Yeah.
This is still Saban, but the one thing good Hasbro did for this season was buy the movie rights for the Sentai, where Saban didn't want to buy it for Dino Charge. So there's that.
Well, if like Hasbro can make a good team up for next year, I'll be hyped for it. Like if they can maybe spend a little more money to bring back more than a couple of actors and try to get more people would be nice.
Yeah, one thing people will see though, Dino Fury is definitely going to be different. Like a lot of people are, yes, technically it's Hasbro, but it's still kind of Saban, like how Wild Force was. Like we're not going to really see a Hasbro season until Dino Fury. Like a
Yeah,
lot of people is like, oh my god, Beast Morphers is not much of a difference.
because it's
Hasbro's not
not.
a better company, and it's like, bro, you literally got a half a Hasbro season. Like Hasbro only put money into it. Like they didn't do anything. Like these are all Saban writers, and that's why they literally got rid of everybody during Beast Morphers because they knew for Dino Fury they wanted all their people on it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, because
this
Jay,
is
you
going to
got me
be
excited, man. Because earlier in another episode, y'all had you was talking about they might take away all that little like fart joke comedy type thing. They're gonna try a little
I
bit more
hope
serious.
so.
Man, those
Get
oh
please,
yeah
fart
oh
jokes need to
man,
go
I'll
away.
be lit for that.
launch Ben and Betty into the sun.
What
Please.
real quick? What Chris is referring to the last episode where we mentioned the Simon Bennett interview, where like he said he had no control over all the like fart jokes and shit
The
that got put
juvenile
into it.
stuff.
He was just a
Yeah, I
director.
feel like that's a Nickelodeon thing. Like they want them to have like a bulk and skull, but they're making it dumb because they think kids are stupid.
It's actually
Say
not
this
Nickelodeon.
every
Nickelodeon
day.
have no control over the show. They just air it.
Then who's mandating the fart jokes?
It's
Because that seems like
Think
peak Dan
it's
Deadwood.
Schneider iCarly humor.
That will That would be Chip Lynn. That would be the
They're-
executive.
I don't even think iCarly's humor was that trash.
No, I like iCarly. I shouldn't trash iCarly.
No, I'm saying
iCarly,
that was
Victorious, and Sam and Cat had some decent humor.
I
That
never watched Sam and Cat. I can't comment on that, but iCarly was solid.
Sam and
Real
Cat is
quick,
trash.
that
Victorious
was-
has
Right?
the
I heard
best
Sam and Cat was
character.
bad. I heard Sam
Jay
and
was
Cat
like,
was
"How
bad.
do you vacuum a tree?" I was like, "What?"
No, literally, that's fucking stupid. They fucking sucked the tree in a vacuum. Like, bro, what?
I don't
Anyways,
even remember that shit.
that
I'm more of
joke
a
was
Big Time Rush
obviously
kind of
for
guy. I love that show.
7-year-olds. Yeah, that
I
shit
don't
was
even
for
know if
7-year-olds.
7-year-olds are gonna laugh at that. I feel like it's like for fetuses.
Well, did you hear what the one guy said? He said his fucking 5-year-old daughter loved that shit, and I was like, what?
Well, his
now we know the
5-year-old daughter
audience.
has no taste.
Actually,
No
Matt,
taste at all.
I'm sorry.
None.
You want
I
to look
did
at
not
good
mean to
parts?
say
Look
him.
at this first Scooby-Doo live-action movie.
Real quick, now that I remember, it was actually I'm not gonna say the name because fuck it. I
Don't
feel like
don't call
Yeah.
him.
yeah. But anyways, I remember who it was, but never mind. Well, so anyways, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I didn't say anything negative. But yeah, so the thing is Chip Lynn to answer your question, 10. He's the producer, he calls the shots. Simon Bennett
10?
said he was just a director, he had no control over it. But he didn't say much, but him saying that a little bit just shows he wanted to do something different. So I'm just saying, maybe, you know what I'm saying? I see it's their first season, you know. This is the
When
Ninja
they had the
Steel.
humor
Not
right
Ninja
was
Steel.
during
This
Disney.
is the Ninja Storm at Disney. So Dino Fury would be Disney's Ninja Storm, if that makes sense. Where you see
Oh,
like
Yeah.
a change between Wild Force and Ninja Storm. Anyways, though, Mickey, what's up, bro? And he might be asleep. Mr. Awesome, what's good, bro? Mr.
Yep.
Awesome, you there?
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
here.
Have you seen the crossover?
Yes.
All right. Give your
Both
review
when
on
it
it.
was leaked and now today.
What you mean? It never leaked, guys. It never. This is the first time we're seeing it. This is the very first time it aired.
Okay.
right.
I really like the story. And people are definitely just pissed off at frickin' the Yellow Ranger mistaking Keeper for a monster or a straggler. They put the old bean color on him. We already talked about that. I didn't. I mean, part of me did wish we got the frickin' Ninja Steel Rangers. I love Dino Chart, but I don't know. Feeling the Ninja Steel Ranger are deserving of another shot. And I like seeing Sledge and his crew again. And I definitely did love the fight scene after. I know this is setting up for like the bigger crossover, but it's nice to see a pretty decent crossover from the Neo Saban era. And trust me, that is not saying it lightly.
Hey, you does this get you hype for like future crossovers? Do you think Hasbro knows they want to do with crossovers and they got like a thing that they're trying to build moving forward? Or you think this is like a one and done 3-part thing? You think moving forward we might get that again?
Moving forward, I hopefully we get that again, like a proper 2-parter, because when Ninja Steel went Danger and Dimension, everyone agreed that should be longer. Then came Megaforce with the Legendary War. It was long, but it wasn't long enough, if you know what I'm saying. Where the
I hope that Hasbro look at this and go, yeah, let's do this moving forward. But part of me do know why it was a 5-part / 3-part crossover. Because Jason Bischoff himself said they put all this into this one season because it was a lot of them, you know, sending their last like send off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
to
like,
prove that they can actually do that, they can do this right.
yeah.
And
So part of me like that's the only reason why we got a 3-parter. But I do hope Hasbro see the positive reviews from it and keep it moving forward. But
And I got one better. What
Yeah.
what if they do what Sentai does and make like a whole hour movie? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was saying last episode.
that's a 2-parter for TV
like
shows
Samurai did.
mostly. Yeah, Samurai. Yeah, that was
Like
a good.
Samurai did.
I actually like that crossover.
Yeah, I like
pretty much.
Samurai's crossover, but
They
and then
took
when I
the
saw the
time out
RP,
to do a movie. I think that was dope.
Yeah, it's to make it make sense. Like, where the fuck did Super Mel came from? It wasn't Super Samurai yet.
But speaking of Samurai, Chelsea, you want to give your thoughts on this crossover?
I liked it so far because I haven't spoiled myself. Yay!
Lucky you.
It was it was really cool to see the Dino Charge Rangers again because I love them. And I was just watching Dino Charge before I decided to watch it. I didn't realize it was the crossover episode that aired on Saturday, and then I saw Brendan's post, and I was like, "Whoa, what?" It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I said, "Go watch." But from watching Dino Charge to watching the crossover episode, I gotta say the one thing I noticed right away, which is, something they do a lot in the Neo Saban seasons, especially later, is that when the Dino Charge Rangers were fighting, there were no stupid quips. It was more.
Yes.
And no more talking during fights, and I
I was
love
like,
it.
the quips are. I love them, but the quips are so bad. Because I was watching the one with like James. They were fighting with just the purple, the aqua, and the graphite rangers, which was an interesting combo to see. And then they said something like, save the trash talk, and he was like, yeah, for garbage day. And I was like, okay, who wrote this garbage?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it
just
was
have
it
to
was
show
straight
up and
hands.
just said their catchphrases. Like, it's time to get wild, all that stuff.
Yeah, they always say like they're stinky and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You're like, this is literally trash talk, but like it's garbage.
I really feel like the Mighty Morphin movie started that. Am I the only person who think that? Like when the Mighty Morphin movie, they had like every line like
You ooze, you
you
lose.
lose.
They did
Yeah,
it
or
way
you
better.
lose.
Those lines
That is
were
so
every
funny.
true.
time.
Yeah, because they're appropriate for their time.
Exactly. Like
Yeah, so-
when she says the see you next fall, you're like, because 90s.
I cannot tell you how many times I lose track of hearing that line. Have a nice trip. See
Dino
you next
Thunder.
fall.
Dino
Yeah.
I'm just
Thunder
like,
did that shit.
I'm just
Kim
like,
delivered it
how many?
best.
I'm like, how many times have this franchise said that quip? Jeez.
And Kim
They-
still delivered it best.
Yet they never say when a giant monster falls, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. I feel like they should have said that at some point.
Or like I'm always quoting Adam in that movie, welcome to Jurassic Park.
Fucking Aisha.
I
There's going to
I
be
still
one
think
nasty
of
next.
I still think
Yeah.
of the "See you next fall" quote. I thought about it the other day, and I was like, why do I think about this still? This movie came out like 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah, it's like not
25.
I
even
don't
the
know why
best.
Adam is a frog so popular today, huh?
Yeah.
I'm a,
It
I'm
doesn't
a
even have the
frog.
best quotes, but it's so quotable.
It is like it's
Like it's time to boogie with the bear.
yeah. Oh my
What?
goodness. What
I
is
mean,
Taking care of
no
business.
disrespect to Karen, no disrespect to Karen Ashley. She loves that
Honestly.
phrase.
when Tommy's on the back of the dinosaur skeleton? I've got a bone to pick with you. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Well, why did he
Talking
do
about a
that?
splitting headache.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
a good
splitting
one. I
headache is
like
my
that one.
favorite. But okay, no, when Tommy picks that bone, why does he look so confused when it falls apart? Because that was his whole plan.
Yeah, well, he's not
Be
the
the
brightest
swallow.
one.
Yeah, he was like,
Now,
Wait a minute. He became a paleontologist, so I guess that was what his gateway into
Oh,
paleontology was.
right.
ooh,
Yeah.
Also, though, it was like funny as hell when like shit. What I was about to say, where like they actually like was talking too long and they got their ass whooped by the birds. Where like
Yeah.
Rocky goes up to him like, what's funny about morphine? You don't miss it till it's gone. But it's
Yeah.
like,
You can't do it anymore.
and
then
they
they
just
get
talking
knocked
so
over.
long that they got
Just took
attacked
out
while
the-
talking. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, the whole
But-
movie, like
Yeah,
the splitting
you can't
headache,
talk
the
shit. You
elevator.
don't have your power suit.
It's
Yeah,
so
that-
simple.
That movie invented the quips for Power Rangers.
But
And
yeah,
I don't know
think that
why
was
they
the
Wish
can't
they
start.
put
gave us a better Megazord. God, that's CG. God,
It
that's
has lips and it's cute. I love it.
CG. I
Oh
hate
my
the
That-
CG. CG is
did you just call
terrible.
a Megazord cute?
Yeah, because it's a quaint looking CGI model and it's so bad, but it's cute. I love it.
Jesus.
Listen, I'm just gonna say this: Wild Force is some of the best one-liners in Power Rangers I've ever heard, and
Agreed.
most of them come from
I
Jim
can't say I
that
remember any of them off the top of my head.
On that note, Chelsea, continue.
Guardians of the Earth, United, re-roar.
All right.
That's not a one-liner.
Go ahead, Chelsea.
Right.
It is memorable.
So even the action scenes were pretty cool, and how it felt kind of tense that they were getting their butts kicked because they were suddenly up against Sledge's whole crew, and they were like, "Wait, what?"
I thought it was so weird how quick they defeated them. Where like Dino
Like,
Charge
after
took the
you-
whole season to do that.
Yeah. Although,
Like
like,
literally, you
Like I
remember
said, they
the
had a whole season to do that. Now they're strong
what's
enough
the
to
blue
just do it
dude?
one shot.
His name like
Who?
Wrench or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wrench.
Literally, his his debut episode, whatever you want to call it. He was like, weren't they demorphing off of one hit by him?
he started out really
Yeah.
strong. Yeah.
And then like literally in
Some little
freaking
cute monster got some hits in. What was that freaking
Oh
name?
yeah,
Curio.
Curio.
Yeah, Curio was Chase's ass, and I was like, "What?"
literally, bro. But they lost so easy, and it's like, bro, they punches were even Sledge, bro. Like Sledge will punch a ranger, and they'll demorph so quick, and it's like, why all of a suddenly? I don't know. It was
I
weird
don't
how
know that
easy it was to take
I don't
him
know
out.
that reanimator
guess-
gave him a power boost or something.
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess
Well, he
with
took all of
them
them out
being
at
animated,
once,
it gives them a more of an edge.
It still
That's
it felt nicely paced.
Yeah,
You know,
for
like-
sure. It was a great episode.
Right.
Yeah.
And like they were, even though it was resolved really quickly, they were mad at her for capturing Keeper. They were like, "What the hell?"
They're like, Zoe, you keep fucking up every time.
Let me just say that I love seeing Keeper. I just love his look. I like seeing Keeper.
If you fuck
ET, you
one
mean?
time, we're getting rock.
Yeah. He reminded me of ET so much.
He's literally ET.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So fucking ugly.
Don't
looks like-
go disrespecting Keeper, man.
He looks like
I think
Larry.
it would have been, if they were going to do original footage, though, it would have been cool to see Heckle come back and morph.
I'd
Ooh,
rather
I like the
Larry.
Aqua
Oh.
Ranger
Please.
or Dark Ranger, whatever they're calling him.
Dark Ranger.
The
that's what
Killer
they
Ranger.
call
I
him.
don't
Dark
know
Ranger,
what he
yeah.
was called.
Who can Heckle?
Yeah, the Dark Ranger.
Yeah.
They should like
He's
Yeah.
not a
original
Dark
footage
Ranger though.
with
That's
the
only in the
suit.
comics. It's not canon.
Well,
I mean,
that's
they
why
have
we're
the
gonna
suit. I know
see
they
it
have
happen.
the suit. They could have used it.
Yeah, but they could like bring it into the show.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm just poking fun at the non-canon people.
Also,
Alright, back to
Tyler's
Chelsea.
dad with a no-show. No surprise.
Well, they
Look,
only
we
had like
don't
the
know
main
which-
six again.
We don't know which time or place in Dino Charge this takes place anyway, so
Yeah, like why are I was like when they were going back through the portal, I said, Ivan, Kodo, what are you doing here?
Well, it takes place after the Dino Charge show because they actually mention how there's dinosaurs still living in their world.
Right,
Plus,
so
now
Ivan
they
and
have
Kodo
the
were in the future.
interdimensional transporter device.
So,
Maybe
yeah,
they
it's
can
in the
travel through
future
time
from-
too.
Huh?
I know, but like Ivan and Kodo always come, like they're just time hopping all the time, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, Coda did it during the Ninja Steel crossover, so it's possible.
Whoa.
I guess they're
Kept the
staying in.
device
I
on
guess they're
him.
staying in the present, in their time.
They realized they didn't fit in the past anymore.
I can't say this because it's an actual like third part crossover, but this. All right, never mind. But
Yeah.
Just
Now
save
we'll
it
save
when
it
that
for when we
episode
get to that
airs.
episode. We'll save
yeah, I
it
was
for
just
Just
that.
save
saying,
it.
all in all,
In
we
2
did
weeks.
like
In
it.
2 weeks.
So 10
And-
Yo.
about this episode, and if you haven't seen it, are you hyped?
I haven't seen it, but also there's a bomb. I'm sorry. Hang on. Let me
Did they
do that
say
again.
it again?
What?
Yes, they
There's a
did.
bomb.
Yes, they
I
did.
can't. What the fuck is up with my voice right now? Why did I choke here?
That was so funny, him coming back and saying that. I died. I was like, no. Oh, wait, I'm alive.
It's literally a compilation of all the
Definitely the
times
best
he
clip.
said it, and it's
Why
hilarious
your first
every
reaction
single
was
time.
responding to that like that? Why would that be your first reaction?
That was the best clip.
Yo, if
Yeah.
they get Sledge's voice actor to come
Listen,
to
listen,
PMC
Time to
next
get
year, I
wild.
know someone's
Listen.
gonna ask him like, "Hey, can you say it's a
Then
bomb?"
please leave that in there, please.
Crazy. I don't even need to know
Yes.
context to know where that clip is from.
Just leave it in here.
I'm just gonna say, when I watched Dino Charge, that was the best running gag in the entirety of Power Rangers because it makes me
Time to
laugh
get
every
wild.
single time.
It's a
Yes.
bomb.
It's a bomb.
It's a bomb!
It's a bomb. Oh wait, I'm alive.
That was just so funny. The delivery.
Minor.
Oh wait.
I love Sledge's voice actor so much. I love him.
Me too.
Genius.
Yeah, that's the one part I'm looking forward to getting to.
That's like his shtick. It's his key phrase. No one's allowed to say it.
I saw
I've
somebody
seen
say like Sledge in
some
Dino
clips.
Fury, and I was like, you know what, please.
I've seen some clips of the morphing sequence, and I'm so glad that they kept the original morphing sequence for Dino Charge because I love that
Just-
sequence.
Let
And
let
then
format forever. Can we just keep that format forever? If I have one
please,
wish.
I'm tired of like the instant morphs. Like, come on.
Yes. Forget
I
they
need that
gave
charm
Monster
back.
Ranger. They gave Adam his own custom morph because they couldn't use like the
Right?
old footage. Yeah.
Like, damn, like, can I just please, can we stop with that? Can we
Okay, I know I'm
actually
gonna
stop with that?
I know I'm gonna get hate for this, but I actually
If
kind
you-
of like Adam's new morph in Monster Ranger. I think it looks pretty cool.
Yes.
I think it was
yes.
Oh,
okay.
agreed.
I didn't mind it.
It was the need of an update. All right, they can't.
Man.
They
It was
can't
like,
just
oh,
like green
cool, new
screen
morphing
anymore.
sequence, cool.
Have y'all seen like
And then I
the
stopped paying
fan made
attention.
What?
versions of the Atom morph? Have y'all seen like they made one for Rocky, they made one for Tommy, like
Oh
it's
yeah, I
on
think I
YouTube.
I saw one for
Yeah,
Jason.
back in the day. Yeah, I seen those.
Yeah, they were like all over my feed back in the day. Shit, that was a long time ago.
I actually seen like edits where in Dimensions in Danger, your Cat and Rocky would transform into Zeo Rangers 1 and 3.
Yeah, well, give respect to Zeo. Zeo's good.
Of course.
I'm over here asking why they have the turbo powers. Do they just share it with the second Ranger turbo team? Because I assumed
I don't
it was
know
a
if they
thing
want
where
a
like
turbo
once a Ranger
representative.
power.
Freaking bring in.
I had almost assumed that once like a Ranger power had been transferred to someone, you couldn't access that power. That was that person's.
Hey man,
And
the
then
morphing grid has
Jason.
its ways.
If they wanted a turbo rep, they could have asked Jason's actor Blake Foster. They could have just asked him to come back.
People are gonna be like, "Who's this?"
They did ask him to come back for Mega Force for the final episode, and they canceled on him like a week before he had to fly out there.
That's such a dick move.
I know.
Even
Not cool, Megaforce. Not cool. Granted, most of the things you do are not cool, but still.
All right, this talk is great and all, but we do have one more person who needs to speak. And Miggy, are you there? If not, we're moving on. All right, we're moving on. So, our final topic is the verses.
Tanera, take it away.
It is
Tanera,
my
this
turn
is
now.
where you shine and you take charge.
All right. So, Chris, I
Hey,
believe you're
actually,
new
real quick
here.
though.
I
skip
am.
me. I gotta go charge my phone. Skip me, and I will jump in. Okay,
I'll save you for last.
you're in charge.
So, Chris, in our TimeForToku podcast, we have a segment at the end of each episode where we take two characters from the Power Rangers universe and we pit them against each other in a clash of character and a clash of combat. So now it is
I am
time
aware.
to reveal our contestants for this episode's verses. Our first contestant. He's the brooding black series operator from RPM. Who's up for Team Dylan?
Me.
Miggy, you there?
Mickey, you dead?
See Miggy's
You
mic
probably not.
turning on and off.
You probably
Mickey,
not
come
there.
back from the dead.
Miggy,
Alright,
be
okay.
like Kendricks. Miggy, make the heroic return like Kendricks. Come on. Okay, never mind. Oh, we'll just move right on. We'll separate teams in a bit later. But in the other corner, we have the feisty, brooding, angry, troubled, misunderstood Black Lion, Jared from not Dino, I'm stupid. Jungle Fury.
You want to do a second take on that, 10? You want to do a second take?
Maybe. All right. In the second corner, we have the feisty, angry, brooding black lion from Power Rangers Jungle Fury, Jared.
So it's a brood off.
Pretty
It's a
much.
brood off. It's a brood
Pretty much.
off.
It's a brood off.
Who can
It's a
glare
brood off.
harder?
Right. So, let's start things off. Who's up for Team Jared?
Me, Team Jared all the way.
Me.
I
All right,
am.
Deca is immediately for Team Jared. We have one for Team Jared. Who else?
I'm Team Jared.
Blackwing. That is two for Team Jared. Anybody else? I hear no responses, so we're gonna
Go
go
on,
immediately into Team Dylan, who is up to defend Black Operator Series Black.
I take that baton.
Chelsea is up for the first member for Team Dylan. Anybody else want to help this email bad boy?
All right,
I'll
I'll
hop
go.
into for that.
I'll go Dylan just to make it even.
Okay.
I'll go with
Two for
I'll
Dylan
make it.
and two for Jared. Who's going to be our tiebreaker?
I think Mr.
I'll be
Awesome just went for.
What?
I'll go for Jared then.
I was gonna do Dylan too.
All right, so
I
we
said
have
Jared.
who? So who's for Jared again? Let me just see in the chat.
Me.
Me.
Mr. Awesome. Mr. Awesome is from Team Jared. Jay, you said you're Team Dylan?
Yes.
We have 3-3. Who's going to be our last contestant for which team?
We got E. We still got E.
E. Hello, E. Which team are you going to be, Dylan or Jared?
One has died.
Seems
What?
we have mic problems today. Let's move on to Chris. I don't believe I covered you. Chris, what is your team?
I gotta go Jared.
You have 4
Hey.
for Jared. So
I mean-
E, do you have is your mic working again? Did you die? Oop, typing in the chat. He is typing in the chat.
Would y'all consider him Daishi's pupil?
He's a human
I
host.
consider him.
Just a host.
I really consider him
I
a
mean,
human
he
host.
kind of guided him
He's
with
he's
the
technically
flashback.
still conscious. He's
Wait,
technically
no,
still
no, that
conscious
was
in the
like one of the
Daishi form.
Dark
Wait,
Lords or
before
something.
we get into this, do you think he still has the Phantom Beast armor?
We're
Yes.
including
He
it.
probably would.
It's not with him anymore, so
Oh,
What?
10.
Yeah, I
He
think it's
said
no. I think he still
Team
has a Phantom Beast
Dylan.
armor.
Oh, it's
So
4-4.
we have 4.
yeah, we'll count it.
This is the most we've ever had
Hello?
on a versus.
Hello.
Hi E, is that you?
Yeah.
Hello. You confirmed Team Dylan?
Yeah. I think my mic was acting up because I was working on a lesson plan. My bad.
Yikes. But hey, the the job of a teacher is never underappreciated. I hope not. So, four defenders for each team. This is, I think, the most we've ever had in a versus.
Yep.
This is interesting. Right. I don't feel bad about being the moderator anymore. So, I believe we have to start off with a clash of character. Let's give the start to Team Dylan. I have a question for each of you. Why do you feel like Dylan is a better character than Jared? I'm going to start. But let's see. I had to write notes. Oh my gosh. Someone from Team Dylan speak up while I record notes for each team.
Dylan
Chelsea.
started out a lot better than Jared. Jared was a jerk, and Dylan was just brooding, but he was also very helpful and kind. I mean, he didn't have to break Ziggy out of jail, but he did it.
Preach.
Dylan also has a badass Mad Max Fury Road car.
Right. And he gave water to an innocent little flower, the only flower in the entire sandpit of a
It's
world.
true. He's a bad boy, but with a heart of gold.
He's like a puppy on the inside.
Exactly.
Where Jared was,
A
yikes.
douche.
And
All right. So, your current argument is that Dylan was just a much better written character in the first place compared to Jared, or you felt like he was just a better person?
Yes.
He grew too. I mean, you know, he just because he had character development. Like he had the most character development. The show was practically about him.
Fair, 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 fair.
He was like the Wolverine of his season.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Exactly.
All right. So, interesting argument. Is there anything else you could say to Dylan? Say, like, how does he help develop the story or help develop the themes of the season?
One could argue he's the main character of the season, considering the overall plot with the villain. He's like the main focus of the season.
It was like the first time it felt like the Red Ranger was the backseat pilot.
Yeah, exactly.
would y'all
The
say
Black
he's like the Andros of RPM?
Yes.
I mean, he's literally because like the way the story plays out, he's almost literally Andros.
It was the exact same, except like, you know, no mentors were sacrificed in this debacle.
No, just everyone else in the world.
Yeah.
For me, I felt like Dylan's presence kind of like pushed the core 3 team to like think I guess I wouldn't say outside the box, because before Dylan and Ziggy came, the team was pretty straight laced and mostly just followed Scott and what Scott like led them to. And then with the introduction of Dylan being such an outside character and being very, I wouldn't say, I guess defiant of rules, kind of pushed the Rangers into like thinking more outside the box and then what's the correct way of things.
Agreed.
Okay, okay.
Dylan contributes to the
So-
story too because he was Vengex. He was transforming into Vengex. But he always fought that, always came back, overcame his problems. Even when he wanted to run away and leave, he was true to the team. And he sacrificed his memories for them. Like, he wanted his memories back, but he had to sacrifice them for the good of the team, so.
All right, all right. So, we have seen on Team Dylan's side that their main argument is that not only compared to Jared did Dylan start out in a better place, but also that he was probably the main character of his story and emboldened and embodied the story and its core ideals. So let's move on to Team Jared and what they have to say. Team Jared, who wants to speak up first?
I'll start it.
All right,
Damn it.
Capling, take the lead. Why do you think Jared is a better character, and why? What do you like about him?
Jared is basically he's kind of like the Darth Vader of Power Rangers villains, because
I was
if you
thinking
think about it, of course he starts off as a bully in the beginning, selfish, doesn't really care, treats everybody like dirt, and of course, having the Daishi within him, he's wanting to gain so much power. He's pretty much training himself to become more powerful, more and more and more as the season progresses. And then by the time at the end arc of the show, you start to see the human side of Jared start to come back to the light and just be like, "Oh man, what have I done? I don't want to do this. This isn't what I wanted. I didn't ask for all this." So, and of course, Camille was like his lightning rod, you know what I mean, to help him to bring the humanity out back for Jared outside of Daishi's darkness. It's like a battle within to escape to the light. You know what I mean?
So you really liked Jared's redemption arc throughout Jungle Fury.
Yeah.
and you liked the way that he interacted with Camille and his own interpersonal struggle.
Yeah, and he also
All
never
right.
treated Camille like dirt, because every time Camille got bashed, he would always stand up for her. So it
All
does show
right.
that he does have some care. He does have a heart for caring for others.
He had that
Raise the
respect for
sound.
lemon juice. Good, good. So, let's see. Chris, anything about him that you like? I haven't heard from you.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. He's kind of like the whole Anakin thing. He starts off like Anakin started off really like ignorant, stubborn, and not necessarily an a-hole like Jared did, and then he gets manipulated to join the dark side, and then he realizes at the end that, man, this ain't for me. You know what I mean? And
All
I'm a sucker for
right.
those type of characters. You know what I mean?
All right. All right. Okay. Okay. So you're giving at it like he had an almost similar arc to Anakin, where he starts out kind of arrogant, more so arrogant and a-holy. But then his overall arc throughout the story and the changes that he goes through really helps solidify him. All right. All right. I like that. Um, Awesome. I don't think I've really heard from you. Is there anything else you want to bring up?
Okay, okay. To add on to the point, we gotta talk about Jared's backstory because that's an important part. Jared was always kind of a good guy. He was just always lost. His parents were never around. He was bullied. Let's see. If he treat everyone like dirt, that's because he was also treated like dirt too. He was basically a good guy who
Yeah.
was going on. He was a good guy going on a dark path, and everyone else pretty much just gave up on him.
Pretty much.
But luckily, yeah, it only took Casey and Camille to bring out the humanity out of Jared.
Yeah, I was hoping you would bring up Casey,
Oh,
because that is a crucial element in Jared's character arc.
That
I was
that and
hoping
also
someone would
bring
bring up.
part that with the overlords. Like, yeah, Dicey was pretty much was still in his body, but he pretty much only influenced it. Only Jared, I say the human part of him, really decided to train and try to prove himself to the Overlord and then be their master.
Yeah, I like the whole it was a parallel arc to the main character, so it was good. That was one of the best parts of Jungle Fury.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
mention.
so the general consensus from
Oh,
Jared
never mind.
I've seen. Oh, did you have something to say?
No, I just want to say something funny. If you guys were mentioning about memories, if you want to talk about memories, those Jared flashbacks of his childhood, man, I was feeling for him. The sympathy was off the charts.
Yes.
Right,
But
so
Dylan's were tragic, and he doesn't have other memories other than that.
Lots
Well,
of
okay.
being there
I didn't
also
So
hurt.
really.
Team Jared,
Wait,
your
wait, hold on.
overall. So what?
Wait, hold on. I hadn't said my piece yet.
Oh, Deca, you were on Team Jared. Ooh.
Yeah, I was on Team Jared. I'm on Team Jared.
Oh, actually,
Let's
Everyone
see.
loves to talk about. So everyone here, they're talking about Jared because of like his personality and his backstory. And those are good points to bring up. I want to bring up like his power level because, you know,
Oh, we do
because
that for later.
Yeah, if you're gonna talk about his combat potential, we're saving that for later. We're specifically talking about his character right now.
oh yeah, that's right. He basically, like with Dylan, from what I've watched from RPM, we don't really know that much about him. At
We're
least not in the
specifically talking
beginning.
about Jared.
But like with Jared, we like know about his upbringing. We know that he was like constantly like, he was constantly brought down by other people around him, and that kind of shaped who he was today. That kind of made him like this huge jerk towards everyone.
Okay, that's a very fair point. So, Team Jared, overall, from what I've seen your argument, Jared had a very nice redemption arc throughout the entirety of Jungle Fury, was willing to train in order to prove himself and become better as a fighter, and then had a sympathetic backstory that explains his actions at the beginning of the story. Those 3 points are really what. Is there anything I missed? Anything huge?
At the end, he decided to go about it the right way and become a pie straw master, starting at the beginning as a cub.
Yeah, that was part of the redemption arc bit. But yeah,
Character development.
yeah. So you argue that Jared had an incredibly satisfying, had like a satisfying character arc.
Yes.
All right. So let's summarize the points for the audience here. Team Dylan, you argue that Dylan was central to his story, was basically the main character. And for a story like RPM, that's really impressive. But you also argue that he was starting out as a much better person than Jared, and that his character development was more so about figuring out his backstory. Correct?
Yes, pretty much.
Yep.
All right. And then, Team Jared, you argue that Jared's redemption arc was the best thing about Jungle Fury, and that it was satisfying, and you get to see everything about Jared and how he came to be, and also his willingness to grow more powerful and become a better fighter in order to prove himself to the overlords. You believe that was central to Jungle Fury's plot, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, I believe we have wrapped up the character segment. Let's get into the exciting bit. Now, when 2 characters in the Power Rangers universe come into a clash of combat, we have 3 separate categories to judge who would absolutely destroy the other in a fight. Firepower, agility, and endurance. Let's start off with Team Dylan. Team Dylan, let's start off with the firepower. Explain to me Dylan's combat arsenal and his most impressive damage feat. What's the biggest moment that Dylan has had when it comes to a powerful attack? I will start things off with asking Jay to speak first.
Yo.
Did
What's
you hear
the
the question,
question?
or do you need to? All
So,
right.
are we on
So we're
combat?
talking about combat. We are on combat, and we're talking about firepower. So tell me about Dylan's combat arsenal and his most impressive damage. It's hard to explain it in an interesting way. What's his biggest firepower moment? When has he hit the hardest?
All right. Before I dip out, I will spread my good piece real quick. Did anyone mention what I put in the chat already or no?
No.
All right, so I can start with that then. So basically, we know Dr. K can control like what goes on, like on her end, right? Like she can control the suits and everything. There's one episode where Dylan's fighting and he's going a bit too far. So they try to control him by stopping him from fighting with his suit by like basically freezing him. Well, he had the willpower himself to break through that, which no other ranger can do. Like like the lock she have on the suit, like whatever she controls, that's what happens. But he was able to break through it. He broke through. I forgot what it was called. It was like a shield protocol or something dumb like that. But he broke through it and still did his own thing, which I thought was pretty powerful for any ranger at that. And yeah, besides from that, he got like his basic weapons. I don't know if anybody else
Okay.
want to piggyback off that.
All right, so I don't quite know which category to put that in, but that is a rather impressive feat. So, let's move on to Chelsea. What can you explain to me Dylan's combat arsenal and his most impressive firepower moment?
Well, Dylan's the shield guy, I think. Oh gosh.
Okay.
Right. So honestly, he's the strong man of the team. I mean, he's half cyborg, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So he's always overpowering not just like Dr. K's control that one time, but every time Vengex gets up in his head. he eventually had to start taking control of that because they couldn't always do it for him.
Fair. So, can you tell me about his offensive capabilities? Like, what are his weapons? Can anybody on Team Dylan give me the weapons?
Cricket.
Yeah, I was like, what is it? I know what him and Ziggy make together. What
His
the hell?
rocket blaster, just to give you guys a little help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as his regular weapon, Dylan can summon a rocket launcher, essentially. Team Dylan.
Yeah, RPM's not known for like having fancy weapons. They
Yeah, I was
have
like, the
their
weapons
basic.
are like
I was
the
gonna
hardest
say,
things to. Yeah, I was like, what the heck are their weapons?
Like the way RPM works though, like there's certain episodes where they introduce weapons that's valuable to like the storyline, but it's not like legit weapon that he like constantly pulls out, if that makes sense. Like
Can
they
you tell
always
me what
invent
sort of
something
weapons
new.
he?
Me, I got to
Can you tell me
rewatch it.
what sort
He
of?
has a
he has the rocket blaster.
The
It's
rocket
just like a
blaster
gun.
and a standard sidearm nitro sword, which also turns into a hand blaster. So he kind of basically
All
has two
right.
blasters, just to give you guys a little help.
That's nice. All right.
I'm
So not
looking
only
right.
does he
Yeah,
have a heavy assault, like a heavy weapon in the rocket launcher that can deal a lot of firepower, he also seemingly has a sword-based weapon that can also transform into a blaster. From what I'm hearing,
that's the basic sidearm. They all have that.
that's fine. That's still part of his arsenal.
Yeah,
They all use their gears and stuff to like do damage, right?
yeah, the stuff on their arms and
The
Yeah, their
legs.
tires
suits
and yeah.
are pretty much a
So
weapon.
that is also a combative capability. That's also technically a weapon. So thank
All
you
right,
for
he
bringing that
also
up.
has a black Pontiac GTO, according to the Wikipedia for his car. I was like, what car does he drive? It's a black Pontiac GTO.
I thought that
Okay.
was American Muscle.
Yeah, 'cause he was the only one that drove on the left side.
Unless they
All right.
reversed the shots. They probably reversed it to make it look like American car. Because it's an Australian license plate.
That makes sense.
All right.
That car's
So,
friggin' badass. Jesus Christ, it's a Mad Max car. He's just gonna run
so
over RJ, just smack him with the car.
RJ.
Yeah, RJ and
RJ.
Jared.
Oh, Jared. Yeah, see, Jungle Theory's not memorable. I don't really like that season.
Wow.
That's because you don't like it. Doesn't mean other people don't.
It's just not that memorable for me.
10 out of 10.
Wait, did I hear RPM slander? Like it's not one
No,
of the
I said
greatest
Jungle
seasons of all
Theory
time.
slander.
No, it's Jungle
Jungle
Fury.
Theory.
Oh yeah,
That was-
overrated.
Dylan was a
Yeah.
better
Overrated,
shooter.
bro.
Enough
Zero.
season
we're not-
slandering. Enough
we're not
season
having this
slandering. Let's
argument.
get back to the excited about.
Let's keep slandering
What
freaking
is
Mega.
Dylan's? Shut up. What is Dylan's greatest firepower moment? When is the moment that he dealt the most damage that he possibly has dealt?
I mean, his first battle was pretty awesome when he like jumps out of the car and morphs. That was pretty awesome. And he fights all the grind. And then he's like, I hate grinders.
Okay. So I would
It's been
say,
a minute since I've watched RPM completely, though. So
It's funny how many times I've watched it, and I'm literally like,
see, I
but like,
watched it when it originally aired, and that was like about it.
I feel like his greatest moment might actually be him making the sacrifice for his memories because he had to destroy that
true.
robot himself. You know, and that's hard to do because those are your memories. That's all you have of your life. So you don't even know that your name is Dylan. I mean, his name could be like Frank.
Subject D44.
I just imagine the entirety of RPM in the jail cell scene, and they go, "Hey Frank."
Yeah, he fits in pretty well. Like Frank Castle, those two could be
Right?
related.
Exactly.
I
mean,
know
I
a
guess
name like Dylan just fits him better, and then just
No,
the
Dylan
idea of
works
calling
so
him good old Frank.
well, like
That's
exactly. It could be
wow.
so basic. Like, what's Tanara's name? Like Tanara 7? Really? That was not her name.
I guess
Are
so.
you
That's another
speaking
good
about
moment of
me
him.
or the robot?
Tanaya 7.
Right.
There you
I'm
go.
sorry.
Another
It's
good
fine.
moment is
It's
when he's going
fine.
to rescue her, and like
Right. Exactly.
he goes in there and tries to rescue his sister.
That's very fair. So Dylan has got bravery and determination on his side. That's pretty impressive. Well, we've pretty much covered all of Dylan's capabilities in combat. His weapons include a heavy assault rocket launcher that can deal quite a bit amount of damage. He has the gears that the RPM suits come with, the standard blade to blaster weapon, and he has his intense tenacity and bravery.
And he's a cyborg.
That's very true. He also has cybernetic enhancements. So, Team Jared,
All
let's
right.
start with you. When
All
is
right, I'm gonna
Jared
go.
when is Jared? It has to recommend that he is in control at some point. It can't be just Daishi himself. It has to be Jared either using Daishi's power or using his Daishi form. When has Jared dealt the most damage? And what is his weapons variety like? Let's
Well,
start
okay.
off
First
with
off,
Mr.
oh,
Let's start off
sorry about that.
with Mr. Awesome.
Okay, what would be his most decisive, powerful blow? Would probably be in the finale where he uses his lion spirit to fight against Dicey's monster form.
Ooh, good answer. Good answer.
And Arsenal, he does the only thing he has is the Zakato power, because that if I remember correctly, use the inner anger within you for to increase your strength overall.
And Jared's got a lot of anger. So, we realize that his Sakata power is very powerful. You gonna mention his martial arts prowess?
Pretty much, yeah. That's his main weapon. His fists. His fists are like his main weapon,
And
and
the lion spirit.
Yeah,
Don't
he
forget
also has
about
the lion
and the lion
spirit.
spirit.
I think for me, like his most powerful moment was like when he was fighting RJ and he used that like fireball energy in his hands and he like dealt a whole bunch of damage to RJ.
He pretty much like poisoned his spirit.
Very fair. Chris, you got anything to add there?
Did you guys mention the Phantom Beast armor?
The Phantom Beast armor is
No,
only
you
exclusive to Dicey.
haven't.
Go ahead, lay
Man,
on him, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
man,
Wait a
he's
minute.
gonna go to work.
Wait a minute. Before we do this, is the Phantom Beast armor something only Daishi has, or was it something Jared Daishi had?
I believe Jared taking control of it at this point because he is stronger than Daishi, and I believe his spirit was able to absorb it and make it his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Dicey
Okay.
in his body for a long time. It would make sense that he absorbed some of that power that Dicey left. Especially it doesn't
Okay.
go away.
And I don't know if Dylan has an armor like that. You know,
Dylan
Okay.
is the armor.
hey,
Hey, yeah, I
Right.
had
So
your piece.
Phantom Beast armor. Is there anything super powerful that he did within that armor?
um,
Just
I'm
some,
a,
just some generic
Any
punches and
show of
kicks.
power?
well, yeah, he just whips ass. You know.
Yeah, pretty much. Just
All
basically, when
right.
you're in a fight with Jared, just prepare for a big ass whooping. That's all you're gonna. That's all to say.
Hmm.
Fair. The mobile game has Daishi is one of the biggest damage dealers in the game, for a reason. So, who did he fight in the Phantom Beast armor?
He fought Casey.
He
He
fought the rest
fought
of the Jungle Fury Rangers.
pretty much.
Well, so a reason I would say the armor is really strong is because it took what was the red's name? I just forgot.
Casey. Casey.
It took
Casey, you just said
Casey.
it.
It took Casey to reach his limit to defeat not even Jared in his armor, Daishi in the armor, because it was when Daishi took full control of Jared for a moment, saying, "Oh, Jared's gone." I don't know if you guys remember that. And it was like the
Okay.
final battle, and like it took Casey his limit to get to defeat him, you know, and knowing that Jared is stronger than Daishi, that could be like way stronger. And if so, it's like if you put two and two together, it means that with Jared with full control in that armor, it's like unstoppable. You know what I mean?
All right, so we're gonna argue. Okay, so Jared, his weapon arsenal. Not only is he essentially a Paijao master, meaning in
Mm-hmm.
close hand-to-hand combat, he definitely has the advantage. He also uses special spirit energy, the Zakato energy, fueled by his anger, which Jared has a lot of, and he also uses the Phantom Beast armor. Have you mentioned how he uses his spirit animal?
Oh yeah, that's right. There are times where he where he there are times where he uses like he summons like a lion. Basically, it's like a CGI lion, and he uses it to like
Just
attack.
like the other Jungle Fury Rangers do for their respective animals.
Yeah, like when we first see him like battling one of his opponents at the school or like the martial arts program, he like attacks them with the lion, and there's like one moment where like Casey uses his tiger and it doesn't do anything, and then he actually like destroys like Casey's tiger spear for a bit, but then when he uses his lion spear, he decimates Casey.
Okay. So, I think we've covered combat. And in terms of who I'd
Wait,
say
wait,
would
wait.
win. Do you have something to add, Chelsea, in Dylan's
I
defense?
literally just thought of this and I was like, why didn't that come to me sooner? Honestly, Dylan's second episode, he fought that entire prison of
Well, I was
prisoners
just thinking that.
one-handed. He did that one-handed. He was holding freaking Jello the whole time.
Okay,
And
that's
that was
on Morph.
before he was a
So,
ranger. That was before he was a ranger.
I mean, he is a
Okay.
cyborg.
Exactly. So the hand-to-hand combat would be pretty equal.
True.
Yeah.
I don't think
Skill, like,
that.
martial
I
arts
know,
is not something you just like take. You got to train. You got to dedicate to that shit.
you don't know that Dylan didn't do
Considering
that?
this is
You don't know his life story? Nobody does.
I mean, I can kind of tell
we
by
do
his.
know his
What
life
did
We
you
story.
do know his life story. He got
programs with him?
kidnapped.
That is not a life story. You don't know that his name is Frank.
He doesn't even know his life story. Okay.
Oh, yeah, but that doesn't stop your instincts. Your instincts stay with you.
Yeah, but Jared knew how to fight when he was a kid, though. Like
Yeah,
in
but
the
okay, did you
flashbacks.
see Dylan? Dylan literally, he was like, boom, 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 with that one hand, and like everybody was attacking him from all sides, and it was like it was nothing. And the RPM Rangers were looking at the footage like,
Kid,
okay, well,
still
damn.
the kid Jared if he wanted to.
Like a comparison, I would make that because it's like you're giving me like Jackie Chan vibes of using your objects like to your advantage. But if you would say that, I would picture in my head that Dylan is more so Jackie Chan and Jared like Bruce Lee. And let's be real, because Bruce Lee, he lives and breathes his martial arts. And I feel like, you know what I mean? Like Jared would sweep the floor, you know?
I don't
Jared
know.
couldn't
Dylan
save his
doesn't go down that
sister.
easy.
Oh, I said it. I went there.
What did you say?
He couldn't save his blind sister. He couldn't save her.
She ain't blind
That's a
anymore,
low blow.
so
That's
yeah.
a low blow.
Hey, we
I'm gonna
did low
ask that
blows
we
before
refrain
on
from
this
anything
thing.
below the belt. So, this is weird because Jared definitely has some range attacks that could rival anything in Dylan's arsenal. So really, I think it could probably come really close to just hand-to-hand combat. If
Man,
Jared can use the because it sounds like it was only Daishi controlling Jared that he could use the Phantom Beast armor, but it wasn't Jared also in control.
I feel
That's
like
a
he
weird thing with
was in
face. That's a
control.
weird thing with
Yeah,
putting
but
Daishi
remember,
in
it was
fights is
also
that
Jared's own body who was handling all that training, all that power too.
yes, but can Jared actually summon the Phantom Beast armor himself, or does
I
it
mean,
have to be Daishi in control?
I believe so.
you
I
know,
would imagine he'll have to learn to like get it back if he wants to.
if
Mhm.
Dylan had ended up Vengex, they would have literally just swapped stories. Like one goes good to bad, and the other one was bad to good.
Because like, wasn't the Black Lion Warrior suit Daishi's or something like that?
No, that
Or am
was
I mistaken.
so
Or that's
Daishi
Street
on
No,
Jared.
birthday,
Jared
but
can
Jared
summon
can't do it.
Jared can summon the Black Lions too. He did that in the finale.
Yes.
But
So
wasn't didn't he get that power through Daishido, or was it like through the
Well,
school?
yes, you can get the power through
I got
Daishi, but like to keep it after you've
I mean, I
done
feel
the
like
whole
if he
thing.
could have got that armor, he could
all
have
right, point.
easily
Okay,
got the
point
pink
is
one.
this. Point is this. Daishi unlocked a lot of Jared's power. He unlocked the black armor power, and when Daishi was free of him, Jared was able to use that power for himself. So it stands reason to believe that if he trained, he could get back the Phoenix King armor.
Exactly.
Phoenix, yeah.
Okay, so I think it all comes down to if Jared can summon the Phantom Beast armor, he definitely wins because there's no way, even with cybernetic enhancements, that Dylan could keep up with a Phantom Beast armor. But there's a
I
little
think it
bit
should have been Korag versus Jared.
Korag?
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But
We'll do that next
that isn't the
episode.
matchup. So let's move on to the next category. I think I know who won this one, but one side might surprise me. Hey, Team Dylan, how's Dylan's agility seen throughout RPM?
Again, he
What
beat up the entire prison.
Was he shown to be very agile throughout that entire fight? Did he do a lot of flips in
Yeah.
a row or something that he could
He
dodge out of the way of?
I think he rolled over a table. I think he flipped that table. He was literally holding a tray of Jello the whole time and didn't spill it.
That takes a lot of dexterity.
That does take a lot of dexterity to just
And he's a
do that.
cyborg, so
Yeah.
one
Plus,
could
a lot of the
assume he
time.
has.
Go ahead.
Oh, he has extended endurance and could probably go really fast if he wanted to. He's basically the Terminator.
And a lot of the time he was like, Ziggy needed a lot of growth. And a lot of the time he was literally flinging and flipping Ziggy around to help them traverse the fights.
that is true.
So, strength.
So, in terms of agility, we have Dylan fighting off an entire prison, which definitely took a lot of dexterity and agile ability. So, but I don't know if I'm fully convinced. Is there anything else you can show me, tell me about, prove that Dylan would have more dexterity and agile and be essentially just more agile than Jared?
Besides being part robot.
Yeah, like that is the agility.
Jared ain't shit without Daishi.
That's true. Dylan is always part robot. Well, not
Jared,
always, but
Jared is stronger than Daishi, bro. Daishi is nobody without Jared.
But
Jared
like
ain't
Dylan was
nobody without
also
Daishi.
right.
that shit goes both ways.
And Dylan also had to overcome Vengex, so they had to both do that.
And Jared lives and breathes martial arts since he was a little
Dylan is
shit.
still Dylan
All right,
without the black
right. Well,
Ranger.
we're not talking about. I'm talking strictly about Dylan. We aren't getting into Jared. Don't interfere.
He did save his sister the second time and pulled her up from falling thousands of feet to her death.
True.
Well, that takes strength. Didn't Dylan run out of exploding building?
Probably.
I mean, he's a robot.
Probably. That seems like something people would know when they watch RPM several times over. I know a lot happened in that season, but like,
I've only watched it the one time.
I was like, you would think, but I was definitely focusing on the Ziggy.
That's fair. Ziggy's the best part of that season.
Really, Ziggy was like, I know it's about Dylan, but since Ziggy and Dylan's stories are intertwined, I mean, like Ziggy is like his Casey.
Okay.
They tried to pretend it was summer, but that was not true.
Yeah, it was not true. All right, so Team Jared, I'm gonna give you the floor now. Give me his best. Give me examples of him using his agility to overwhelm his opponents.
He's used his agility many times, especially even before he got the Phantom Beast armor, when he pretty much challenged the trio, the Jungle Fury Rangers, to a duel, and he pretty much mopped the floor with them
Yup.
quickly.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And we could definitely say, like, with him getting the Phantom Beast armor, that pretty much multiplies his agility tenfold.
Wait, he did that without the Phantom Beast armor?
Yeah,
I
without
think the
the
Yeah,
best
it's
example
rap,
would
bro.
be
Those are
his fight against
those are
Casey
straight
during
generals. Like, come on now.
the Phantom Beast Generals.
No, I'm just saying, like, those three, like, those are like basically generals. Like, they're like strong as hell, and he
No,
did
no,
that
no, no,
without the
no, no,
Phantom
no. He's
Beast.
talking about him overpowering and outspeeding the Jungle Fury Rangers.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other dudes. My fault, my fault.
Oh no.
Not the. Oh God, what are the?
What, the
Oh
Phantom
God,
Beast generals?
what are the
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
general term for
No.
the enemies in
Spirit Rangers,
Jungle
I
Fury?
believe.
No, not the Spirit Rangers. It's oh God, what
It's like the three.
what is the like general term for the enemies in Jungle Fury? Can anyone remember?
Generals.
The Paishwa.
The
No, it's like
Paiswa
the
Master.
evil dudes,
The
right?
animal, the spirit generals,
Oh, the Ren.
because they were all based on like evil spirits.
The
The Renshi
Renshi.
The Renshi.
The
Yeah,
Renshi. There
them.
we
I
go.
was like, you guys are
Strong.
confusing me.
Thank you. So the Renshi masters, he did learn from them, which means his agility probably got better. So, when it comes to agility, is there anything afterwards, after he trained with the masters, that would prove that he was like at least more agile than the Rangers? Because the Jungle Fury Rangers are pretty fast.
They may be fast, but sometimes he could, pull up with the speed 10 times faster. And sometimes
Fair.
sometimes when he's in battle with the
True.
Rangers, they tend to be equally matched.
True.
Basically making a prodigy. Oh shit! I just realized that he's basically a prodigy. He's able to deal with the Paiswa training and the Phantom Beast's training,
Yeah.
and do it pretty fast.
I don't think that there's a true argument that Dylan would like outspeed Jared. So I think I'm just gonna give agility to Jared. I had a feeling that he was gonna win, but Dylan put up a surprisingly good argument. Like, I'm gonna give that to you, Team Dylan. You put up a very good argument, and it made me doubt it for a solid minute there. But the fact that Jared could outspeed the Jungle Fury Rangers consistently, it won me over. But now let's get into the rather exciting bit, and I have a feeling I know who wins this one. But let's get into endurance. Team Dylan, how many, what's like the hardest hits that Dylan has taken and still kept fighting? Preferably if he stays morph. Like, bonus points if he stays morphed. What's the hardest hit that Dylan has taken and still kept fighting? Chelsea, I'll give you the floor.
The hardest hit he's taken. Why are these questions so hard?
Yeah, why are they
It's
hard?
especially hard if you haven't watched the show in over 10 years.
Sorry, but like, we can't this is how we do it.
Well, it would have been the same for me with the Jungle Fury 2. I haven't watched that since that came out. This was
You can blame Jay for the matchup.
I know.
I was gonna do something like Samurai Rangers, but like,
I
you
could
can
have
blame
done
Jay
that.
for the matchup.
Yeah, see, I have much better arguments there.
Hey, I heard my name. What happened?
We're blaming you for
You're
this matchup that nobody knows what they're talking about.
You're terrible when it
Well-
comes to matches,
Well,
bro.
It's not my fault. Y'all ain't get y'all Power
Well, it-
Ranger knowledge up. Y'all over here Power Ranger fans when they ain't
No, I
even see
literally,
the
I
quote
have
unquote two best
so
seasons.
No,
many
because they know
times.
what kind of questions I ask.
Jungle
and-
Fury's not in the top 2.
Honestly, my strategy is though the reason why I do so good in these because I attack everyone. I attack the opposite side, all that. But
Well,
I get it. Your strategy is a little different, so we gotta dig deep and know their
hey
weapons
Jay,
and
since you're on
agilities
Team
and stuff.
Dylan, hey Jay, since you're on Team Dylan and you seem to know so much about RPM, can you tell me what the hardest hit Dylan has taken and still kept fighting? Bonus points if he stayed morphed.
The hardest hit I remember him taking was let me think. Morphed or unmorphed?
Morphed, and then he doesn't demorph.
It's just yes, he has to take it morphed, and then if he took a
So-
really hard hit while he was unmorphed, bonus points, I guess, because that's kind of impressive.
Does like falling out of a building count? And
Sure.
staying morphed?
Yes. He took damage, didn't he?
I was about to say he fell out of a building and like stayed morphed towards like
That's
the
pretty
season
impressive. How tall
finale.
was the building? Was it pretty tall, or
It was.
do you remember roughly
It was a
how high the
building.
fall was?
It was one of the Corinth buildings. It was pretty tall for
It was as
a
high as
building.
the Sears
And Corinth
Tower in
has pretty tall
Chicago.
buildings. Ooh, and he
But
stayed more
that's.
hit the ground.
But yeah, he didn't demorph. RPM don't really demorph though. If y'all
Damn.
Well, like RPM
got that.
It
too.
doesn't matter if they don't demorph, it's still canon that they didn't demorph, meaning he was able to maintain his suit.
Well, even when they do demorph, they're definitely one of the teams that remorphs the fastest. Even though she has to like reboot their power, they'll like demorph and then be like, "Ah, dang," and then just remorph and get back in there.
I love that though.
Especially like
dang, I
Dylan and
demorphed. I have to
Zigio.
remorph in a second.
For some reason, the green and black morphers are like stronger. I don't know how,
Yeah.
but
Exactly. They remorph instantly every time, whereas other teams are like, demorph, lost the battle, let's go regroup. They were like, no, keep fighting because this is the only place left on Earth we got.
Fair.
And he's
we need
taken
a
a lot of
group
hits
real
from
quick. We need a group RPM rewatch. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't
Fine, when
watched
I
it since it came
fine,
out.
Save that for
when I
next-
rewatch
save
RPM,
that
I
for
will
next
stream
year,
it to the
please.
server.
Save that
I'll
for
stream it
next
to
year
the
because
server when I
I'm
rewatch
trying to finish
RPM.
the whole franchise.
That works, 10. That works.
But yeah,
Because
he's
I
taken a lot
eventually
of
have
hits
to
from
rewatch it
Tanaya.
anyway. Don't remember
But
quite a
y'all,
lot.
Godspeed and win this for me because I'm gonna head out. I'm
Okay.
falling asleep at the keyboard.
Alright, Pete.
Have a good
Hi,
night.
Peter Parker.
I was gonna
Oh my
say
God.
We were on the
Rosberg
last
anyways.
topic anyway, so.
All right.
So
have a
Dylan
good night.
fell out of a fucking building.
Twice.
He got
And
knocked
stayed
out of a
morphed.
building.
He got knocked out of a building. Stayed
Yeah.
morphed. That's kind of impressive. That's really
I'm not
impressive.
I'm not
didn't
gonna
remember.
mention what else happens because they'll kind of like make him look weak. So we're just gonna stop it there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the most impressive amount of damage that he's taken, and is able to keep fighting. Sure.
I don't know if that was the most amount of damage he took. I just know that's something that happened. and
Yeah,
he
like all
stayed
those
morphed.
If it's what you can remember,
actual
it's what you can
Vengex
remember.
bodies. Tanaya, his hits from he always fought Tanaya. They had some pretty intense unmorphed battles.
Yeah. Tonight was a very strong fighter. Right, so I think it's
Yeah,
time
Dylan
to
got knocked
Jared
out of a building due to an explosion.
Yep.
That knocked him out.
That's what I was thinking. I knew he escaped an exploding building before. I didn't think he fell out of it though.
He got knocked out due to the impact.
So
They get blown up.
that's pretty impressive. Dylan falls out of a building and stays morphed. But Team Jared, what's the biggest amount of damage that Jared's taken and is able to still fight?
Okay. I'll take this one. It
Go
was
ahead.
his confrontation with Casey in his castle, where Casey went jungle master mode after having a long fight, delivered enough damage to both demorph and took down Jared for a second. Then Jared got back up and attacked it. Well, tried to attack him.
Okay. So he took a very strong hit from Jungle Master Mode Casey. That is a very strong mode to take a hit from.
King Beast armor too, so that was a very powerful hit if he's able to immediately demorph him.
That is very true. And he was in the Phantom Beast armor?
Phantom Beast, yes.
Oh.
Were you talking
Wow.
about their final fight?
Not the final fight, their last confrontation before, Daichi got out of him.
Wait, but wasn't that part like that was Daishi was taking control of him, and it wasn't Jared?
Well, they were struggling for control at the time, but
Because if it was fully Daishi, I would say, like I was saying earlier, then because Jared's stronger than Daishi, then he would have.
yeah, but it was
If he was
still
able to
Jared's
survive
own body
that.
that was taking all the damage. So,
Oh yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying that since it wasn't fully Jared, Jared would have been able to withdraw that even further than Daishi was able to, with him taking control of Jared.
I see your
Okay.
point. It's Jared's own body who was taking all those hits and doing all
Yeah,
those
yeah, I
moves.
agree. I'm just trying to like make
I'm
sure.
less concerned about body and whether or not it was actually Jared in control, because I want to base on Jared's own feats. I know for a majority of Jungle Fury, he shares most of his feats with Daishi because they're like two people in one body, but it's towards the end where things get mucky because
They were both fighting. You couldn't tell who was in control most of the time. Well, most of the time. Some of the time.
I mean, Jared's the host no matter what. So if he's able to take those hits, he's able to take those hits. And since Jared is stronger than Daishi, he'll be able to hit those hits back. You know what I mean?
Strong enough to hold off
guess that's
Daichi for a little
a
bit.
valid argument. I wonder if it was just because of him also having Daishi in his body, but I don't know. This is an odd argument.
What if in this argument, right, is it valid to mention that Dylan's actually taking all of his hits and not like another person controlling Dylan?
Yes.
It was still Dylan's
Is that
own body
valid?
taking
Because
those
like
hits.
if Dylan, like for example, if Jared didn't have Daishi, would he still take the amount of powerful hits he took?
We unfortunately never see Jared fight outside of having Daishi, so I
The
can't
ending,
say
right,
for
or
certain.
no?
In the end,
The finale?
Jared's own mind
Yeah,
hero was
yeah.
able to hold off Daichi for a
He
little
did
bit. While
one thing. He didn't fight Daishi.
but
He
that took
just
a lot.
used his lines.
That's a
Of
hold
course,
off.
that did a lot of damage, but like.
All I'm saying is Dylan can still take the same damage with or without the
And
blanket
I gotta
suit.
say, I gotta say, going a whole season no power ups means your power is already pretty impressive. Like the RPM powers are strong, and they're not sharing the morphing grid with the main dimension. So, and they are, but they aren't. So they probably got extra boost.
Boom. Brownie points for Dylan.
Yeah, but could they? I'm not gonna say no. That's spoiler
Right.
territory.
So the whole full hit from Younger Master Mode, Casey. It sounds like Jared was at least in some partial control, so I think I have to give it to him. It's a weird argument though, so I don't know how well it holds up.
You gotta watch Dylan in action.
That's something you would have to watch this show for, and even then it could be vague.
Because Dylan's just a much more wholly rounded character.
Right. So alright, so in Dylan's corner for endurance, we have him falling out of a building and staying morphed. In Jared's corner, he takes a full hit from Jungle Fury Master Mode Casey, demorphs, and then gets back up and fight. I think I'm actually gonna. Ooh, this is hard. Oh, because this seems like it'd be equal.
Well, like you got to think about all of his internal struggles too. Fighting off that Vengex virus was not easy.
You also had to give it to Jared too. He was also fighting for control of his body.
Yeah, but Dylan actually did better.
Great. That's not endurance, I think.
I think it is endurance. You got to endure.
That could be in tests of endurance.
That's very
But
funny.
Jared was also.
I'd like to see you fight something off.
I mean, Jared
was 90% of the time.
Jared
Exactly,
was
that's what I'm
literally
saying.
fighting a demon inside him and someone else at the same time.
Yeah, like he was
Jared
being
needs 2 hands.
mind like twisted the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah, but like,
Wow.
Dylan was technically, even though he didn't end up being Vengex, he was technically Vengex.
I guess.
No, this is
But,
really fucking. Oof. As a moderator, this is hard. This is like. Oof.
And
This
it
sounds
was
like a good
I mean,
matchup.
not Chris Wallace hard, but like, damn, this is difficult.
like I said, end it
So,
with the Roods better.
I think I'm actually just gonna give it to Dylan. Just stay. It depends on how tall the building was, but it sounds like the building was like at least a skyscraper tall. So that's definitely impressive. Was Dylan at one of the topper levels? Does anybody remember when he knocked out?
He just knocked off like a building twice. I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
Although
the thing is with the building is like it was still a high building. Like even if you're in the
I
middle,
know.
you're still high above. You know what I mean? Like
I know. It just would have been a lot more impressive if it had been at the top. So it was at like the middle of the.
like he wasn't on the
Sorry,
roof,
the
but
top.
like he was, in the building.
Was it in, like towards the middle or like the middle top?
Middle top. It was the middle,
That's still pretty
definitely, but
high.
it's still
So
midi top. Yeah.
that's still pretty high. Yeah, I'm just gonna give it to Dylan. I think that just falling out of a building and staying morphed is just a bit more impressive somehow than taking a
Look how
full
I
hit
came clutch
from
for Team
a
Dylan.
master
Proud of
mode.
myself.
I'm sorry.
A
How
master
how
mode
is
full hit.
falling out of a building once more impressive than constantly getting hit through
Twice,
walls?
my guy. Twice.
Actually, no. Dylan did
but he
fall
was taking
twice.
damage from another equally powerful ranger too.
But
That's what
so
that
was
building came
Dylan.
out match.
Yeah, when it comes to the RPM Rangers, I do tend to place them higher on a power level just because
They're strong
they
AF.
simply never got power ups. Like you think I would play something like the Lightspeed Ranger at the same level, but also 3 of them got battleizers.
Her whole explanation about the biofield and the way it works with their powers, like it was like a morphing grid enhanced.
Plus, they have weapons on their freaking suits. That's still cool.
And he's still a cyborg.
Very true. Dylan is also a cyborg, which means he technically could possibly.
And he don't need both hands at that. Just
Yeah,
need one.
that fight was so impressive. I mean,
All
like,
right, so.
But
All
freaking
right.
Jared is a better overall martial artist. He's been training since he was a little kid.
okay, I
All
want you
right,
to remember
so
that.
let's review. Let's review. I gave Jared the point in agility, and I give Dylan the point in endurance. Firepower.
Ooh, firepower.
In terms of brute strength, Jared wins. But in terms of variety of arsenal and was something I thought about. Yeah, in terms of variety of arsenal, Dylan wins. This is difficult. This is a difficult matchup.
Hey, remember.
Thanks a lot, Jay.
Shut
you
up!
guys keep bringing up the one-handed
Jay
thing.
Brock Horag or the Wolf Warrior.
Listen, all I'm saying is the fact that it's hard means it's a good matchup. That's all.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like
true.
it's like the Lost versus. It was difficult because I didn't quite know who would actually win in a fight.
We gotta remake that at some point.
It was so good.
Also,
Yes.
the one-handed
like
thing.
a 10th episode or something.
Also, the one-handed thing, I wouldn't, because it's not like he was fighting Rangers one-handed. It was a bunch of bums from the prison.
All right, but think about it though.
They were
that
mafia.
shows that he can still go.
Wait, they were
mafia.
Yeah, they were freaking mafia because
So they're
Ziggy
not,
was
they're not
off.
martial artists.
Rangers.
Yeah, they're not Power Rangers.
I'm sorry,
Mafias, they don't know how to fight.
The mafia.
The mafia just use weapons. They pull up with 2x4s. Like,
did y'all not watch Daredevil?
Yeah, what
or-
do you think they are? Sopranos?
hey, I'm comparing it to real life mafias. All right.
You don't know, but it's Power Rangers. So why the hell would they be
I was
real
about to
life
say
mafia?
these are people who are even. Aren't these supposed to be like a top notch
I never
prison?
watched
They were-
Sopranos. I know a little
Alright.
bit of it.
Wasn't
Those
this like a
mafia
top notch
guys-
prison though? Like the most dangerous prison, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Those
in
those
RPM.
mafia guys
but
that were
let's be
chasing
real.
Ziggy were doing ninja flips and everything.
Let's
It was
be real.
crazy.
In movies, the top mafia, they're not the ones to go out and cause havoc. They sit in
Yeah,
the
well, nobody
shadows.
said you.
We're
Nobody
talking
said
about
you had
Power
no problem
Rangers.
there.
That's what
Yeah,
All right,
you
all
tell
right,
the
everyone,
RPM going off what boss wants.
Yo,
everyone,
chill. Yo.
Come on, kill dogs.
calm down. Right.
they were Ninja Mafia.
This fight comes down to, can Jared get close? Can Jared get close enough to overwhelm Dylan in close range? That's where this fight boils down to. Because at range, Dylan wins because of his variety of weapons, even though, yes, Jared does have his animal spirit that he can launch at a range, as we see the Rangers do constantly, and we see Jared did in the series. However, it does come down to whether or not Jared not only can summon the Phantom Beast armor, but can also get close enough to Dylan that he can overpower him in hand-to-hand combat. Because I do believe Jared definitely has the advantage in hand-to-hand combat. Discipline, that many years of discipline and mastery would definitely overpower whatever
Wait,
instincts were programmed into Dylan. So it just
wait,
comes down to
question.
what?
In the Megaforce one, the Megaforce where Casey appears, was he there physically, or do you think it was a spirit? Because if he was there physically, then that just confirms that he can teleport.
Uh,
Huh?
I
No,
mean, that's
because
we're
just
not.
Era became a Pie master in the future. We
yeah,
don't know that.
so he could probably teleport. Because if you're talking about if he can get close enough, then I think Jared could teleport. You know what I mean?
Wait, were you talking about the
Or
future or during their
Hang on,
prime
yeah,
time?
the
Blackwing.
future.
Hey, Blackwing. Hey, Blackwing.
Yeah.
You were the one who recently watched Super Mega Force. Was Jared there? Was not Jared? Was Casey there physically?
Because he
It
teleports in the end, or he
okay. It
disappears.
was weird. It's weird. It's really weird. Like really, at the end of the tribute episode of Jungle Fury, Casey's like training in the park, and Emma and Jake are telling the other guys like, "Hey, look, it's Casey. He's over there. He's over there," and then he magically just disappears.
What the fuck, Super
It's
Mega Force?
it's awkward. I can't explain it. It's
What the
just
fuck, Super Mega Force? Why didn't you make this easy on us? There goes another
Let's
disappointment.
assume he was there just to make
That's another disappointment to
more
that
sense a
season.
bit.
Because if he was there, he can
I don't
teleport and he
know.
can get close enough.
Alright, then
I
I
have
don't know
no.
if I want to include
I
the
mean, you have to
reference to
assume
Super
given the
Mega
fact that
Teleport is
Force.
not
Jaden also
confirmed,
showed
bro.
up.
I
And
think
That's
showed up
not.
in
that's
most
I
Don't
think that's irrelevant because Super
don't
Mega
bother.
Force
Don't bother putting
didn't
that in there.
confirm anything. So,
all right.
so,
Okay, get back.
so,
Thank
so, so,
you.
so. The fight comes down to A. Can Jared summon the Phantom Beast armor? If he can, he wins the fight. There's nothing that Dylan can do.
Okay.
And 2. Can Jared get close enough to overwhelm Dylan physically? If so, he wins. It just comes down to can one of those two things happen? Otherwise,
All right. Okay. Let
Dylan
me
has
raise
it
you a
in the bag.
question. Can Dylan's arsenal able to knock back the lion spirit a bit?
I think
That's
Dylan's
very
a
true.
stubborn will.
How I wish someone would definitely tell me how.
No, Dylan's powers, like Dylan's firepower, cannot knock out Jared's lion spirit. Because remember, Jared could overpower Casey's tiger spirit, but Casey couldn't overpower Jared's lion spirit.
I
Okay,
can
then what?
argue that Dylan
Good.
is probably a stronger ranger than Casey, though.
Honestly.
There is a definite argument for that. That's an odd argument though because Jungle Master Mode exists.
Yeah, but them having like physical spirits to use is cheating.
No, it's not. It's part of their arsenal.
Yeah, but like no other ranger, like they all have an animal spirit per se. So
So the
unless
Pie
they were taught to
maybe
use
could
it.
use to bring out that animal spirit. That was
Which Jared definitely was. We see it in the literal first episode.
Right, so is this like close hand-to-hand combat thing morphed or not? Because I have a scenario for that.
Probably, yes.
Like in
it
the
has to be more.
in Thunderstorm when when Dustin and Ethan were fighting and Ethan used his strong arms. I feel like if like Dylan used his gears when he like
His invincibility shield.
or that when he was going to hit him, it would hurt.
That is very true. Wait, you didn't mention that he has like. What is the capabilities of this shield? What kind of shield is it?
It can last for 10
deflect
seconds.
anything. Yeah, but deflect. It's
So
a
you have a
shield.
10-second window to freaking defeat Jared if it doesn't work.
Well, he's a cyborg, so that's not hard.
Oh my gosh.
He
Okay,
probably
I
doesn't
I
even
hear
feel
he's
half
a
these
cyborg.
punches.
One more time.
He is a cyborg.
It's a valid
freaking
argument. It
steals
is
a
a
goddamn
valid thing.
robot. You
It's
don't hear him
enhancement to
complain.
his physical abilities.
He can probably take more punches as a cyborg.
Oh
He
You,
don't have
you
enough.
like,
Probably.
they have some
Right.
hardcore fights, and it's
Again.
just
Again, it definitely comes down to, can Jared summon the Phantom Beast armor? We haven't seen him be able to do it outside of a fight. We also have not seen Jared really fight outside of a fight, outside of Daishi. So it just comes down to, can Jared himself summon the Phantom Beast armor, and can he get close enough to Dylan at the beginning of the match to overwhelm him physically?
I got a
Those are the
crack
two
argument.
questions.
We
Go ahead,
talked about
Chelsea.
this. We talked about this before, but like in the RPM universe, if you didn't make it to Corinth City, you died. So Jared died in that universe. He didn't make it.
Word.
Dylan
Said that
did.
they were fighting in Corinth.
We talked about this before. What happened to all those? Was Tommy the first one to die? Was Jared the first one to die? Because why aren't
Everyone
they
died except for the RPM people.
right?
That's why you see overdrive helmets and shit. Like they
And you
ain't
see
make it.
Jungle Karma Pizza.
You see Jungle Fairy weapons and shit.
Uh.
Yeah, they dead.
But that's
They out of there.
different. Freaking the
Wait, that's the same
RPM
universe?
But who
armor was
said that?
made.
Okay,
The
Oh my
well,
RPM
gosh.
Operating Series
also
ranges what made it beat Vengeance.
If Jared is so strong, why can't he
Hold
outrun
up.
Apocalypse?
Right.
Hold
That's
up.
what I'm
Also
saying.
consider,
The
Vengeance had
range
literal
the RPM
thousands of
was
robots being sent against these Rangers.
Exactly.
No Ranger team
It was a
on
matter
their
of being
own.
overwhelmed. Okay, go by your argument. They were being overwhelmed by hundreds of thousands of robots. You can't fight.
Listen, all Dylan had was his rusty old car and a lollipop, and he survived.
Yeah, that was his first fight. He took on those things and with the
But he
lollipop.
didn't take on literal armies. He probably only took on squadrons.
We didn't see
He took
what
on
happened.
those robot
It's not a
laser
question if they
things
can
He
take
in the
them
survived,
car.
down. The
though.
question is how
Yo,
long can they
Tanera,
last
at
against
this
them.
point, just leave it up to the comments.
I
Cause
think so. I
Remember
mean,
when
this is
Peter
a
mentioned
really.
the car, the Mad Max car? He drove through that Vengex blockade with just the
All right.
lollipop and a few
All
bombs.
right.
All right, listen. We're going
All right.
on 3 hours.
Under the
yeah.
wall
All
already.
right.
Why else you need to
I'm
build
sorry
up
for
his
dragging this on so
defenses?
long. All right. I'm sorry to drag this on so long. But, comment section, what do you think?
You really gotta sell this
What
front,
do you
man.
think? What do you think? Who do you think would win in a fight between Jared and Dylan? We've been talking for like the last hour, but who do you think would win in a fight? I want to know. And honestly, thank you for getting through this. This was this is
little bit
frustrating, but
better.
also really fun to discuss because I haven't seen RPM in a while, and I don't remember some of the things from it, and I think this definitely warrants a rewatch at some point. So, thank you for listening. Like, seriously, that was a slog to get through at some points.
All right, and we have Blackwing.
You can find. I'm tired now, but you can find me at Blackwing2040 on Twitter, Instagram, and on my YouTube channel.
And we have Chris, our new member. How you doing?
Good. You can find me on Chris with 2 S's, 26 DUES.
And we have Deca.
You can find me on YouTube at Deca Blaze Dude. You can find me on Twitter at Backup Blazing, and you can find me on Instagram at Deca Blaze Dude.
And we have Mr. Awesome.
All right, have a good night, and you can follow me on Twitter at _ Mr. Awesome _
And Chelsea.
Have a good night, and if I can leave you with one final piece of advice, it's never pay full price for late pizza.
Damn straight.
Yes, absolutely right.
We're mad at Ninja Turtle fans right now for spamming our comic section. Okay, so
Very.
we don't give
Oh
them
wait,
any
I forgot
references.
to shout out someone.
That was for
All
Jungle
right,
Karma
go watch the
Pizza.
Power Rangers
RJ
fan
gave me late
film.
pizza.
Don't attack
Yeah,
fans.
I
Come
forgot
on.
to shout
Don't
out someone.
start shit. Don't start.
But
and
we also
We had a
have
Star War between the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan base. We supposed to be cool. We had a crossover with them once, a long time ago.
Exactly.
they're just mad because we're still going on and they're not. They get you guys got a
How are
Seth
they
Rogen
mad?
movie. Just wait for that. Like
Yeah, the high turtles, get ready. You know.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles half baked. All right, and we have our lovely moderate 10.
Thank you so much for watching. And by the way, the thing I mentioned last week, I finally had time this weekend to start on it. So
Yeah.
if I'm gonna leave with something, hope y'all like coins.
All right, and we had Shy Rose, Miggy, and
Any
Peter, who decided to dip out early. But this is Jay Savage, and this is TimeForToku podcast. Jay Savage out.